All right, PTA episode 11, baby. We have officially crossed the 10 mark. We're in the double-digit territory now, boys.
Let's go, baby.
But I'm Cole. We got Luke here. We got the Buzz there. We're going to be doing some NFL free agency grades. And also we're going to continue our dream offseason for some of the teams that we had not mentioned yet. If you want to look at the other plans, go look back on episode 9, 8, 7, go over all that. But let's hop right into these NFL free agency grades. I got the first division here being the NFC East. We're just going to go by team here. First team up, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm giving Philly a B. Philly brought back Jordan Davis. They brought back Goddard on a nice one-year, $7 million deal. They lost some bodies, though. They lost Jalen Phillips, Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, Brandon Graham, and some other depth pieces. Now, the reason I have them at a B is because of the Tariq Woolen signing. 1 year, $15 million for a Tariq Woolen who has all of the talent in the world. He just hasn't fully put it together yet. And he had some, questionable mental moves in Seattle that probably led to his demise there and to them letting him walk. But is this not just like a signing of, okay, Tariq Woolen's going to maximize potential, 1 year deal, 1 year flyer with an already stacked defense? I can see Tariq Woolen being a legit all-pro next year, and I don't think anyone would be that shocked. That signing for me salvages their grade and puts it at a B. And also, too, Howie Roseman's been a stud at drafting, a stud at adding players, so this team didn't have a ton of cap financial wiggle room anyways. So for whatever Howie was able to do with the current cap situation, I think it warrants at least a B in my mind. I was thinking C+, but I really think the Tariq Woolen signing is honestly one of the best in all of free agency. So it's
agree.
A B for me.
No,
and you get Goddard back on a very affordable, team-friendly deal.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're kind of just keep the band together. They're not going to get Jalen Phillips back for $30 a year, and then like you said, like the if Tariq Woolen, right? Tariq, right? Yeah. Reek. Yeah, if he has a solid, good year this year, which he should, in a defensive backfield with Malik Muhammad. No, he's on the Niners.
Dejean
Quinyon Mitchell, and then the other Texas safety that they took last year. I mean, he should excel in that. It's just like the defense he played in last year. It's just stacked top to bottom. The Eagles really need another edge, but other than that, I mean, they have a stout roster top to bottom.
Yeah. We're going to talk about this a lot throughout this episode, but I think one of the biggest things in free agency and grading whether you had a good offseason is not only the moves you made, but the moves you didn't. Mm-hmm. And the omissions you made and avoiding horrible contracts. And that's exactly what they did in the Jalen Phillips deal.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost Reed Blankenship. They could have got him back for cheap, but the secondary's fine. And the Tariq Woolen move, like you said, that's like the perfect Howie Roseman move. Yeah. That's just Howie Roseman to a T. Who's the most talented guy? How can I get him for a bargain? Let me get him. I'll make it work. Mm-hmm. It makes total sense. And then the Goddard deal, I think 1 for $7 million for Dallas Goddard is a crazy price for him. Yeah. I think that's ridiculous.
I mean, K-Dot just got 3 for $30.
Yeah,
so,
it's ridiculous.
Likely got 3 for $36.
Julian Hill, dude, who we just found out earlier. I didn't even know who Julian Hill was. He's a tight end in the NFL. Got 3 years, $18 million from some
team. Did you see what Daniel Bellinger from the Giants got?
No.
3 for $24.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
Daniel Bellinger is like a backup blocking tight end.
Do you know who Julian Hill is?
I honestly don't.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, cool. He got $6 million a year.
What team was he on?
He was on the Dolphins.
Upside, I guess.
He had 15 catches last year.
I mean, I would guess Goddard had some better offers than 1 for 7, but I mean, he should go back to Philly.
And also, Goddard coming back just helps the offense so much because he knows, the offense. He knows how to play with those guys. But also, it's just like having a vet in a spot where if you want to go draft a tight end in round 2, 3, 4, you can go get one and have a guy develop behind Goddard.
I mean, it's only a 1 year deal. I don't see this. Like, if Kenyon Sadiq's there for them at 23, I could very well see them still picking Kenyon Sadiq.
They don't need veteran presence, but it just exactly. It gives them the option to take best player available. They don't have a position of need.
And that's what Howie does every year, and it works out more times than not. And that's how we approach this free agency. And Luke, like you said, the Phillips that's a deal you win by letting him walk.
100%.
And they traded for him last season to go all in for the Super Bowl run. Didn't pan out, but $30 million a year for a guy that's high sack totals 8.5. You let that guy walk all day.
Well, he only had 5 sacks last year.
Yeah,
he didn't even have that many.
No, he got paid definitely way more off of upside than proven production.
Right. And then think next year same thing's going to happen with Tariq Woolen.
Exactly. All right, second team up. We got our boys, the Dallas Cowboys.
Woo!
I'm giving Dallas a B. Now, Dallas, they added Rashawn Gary via trade. They got Jalen Thompson, 3 for 36. This guy, not the biggest name, but he was really solid for Arizona last year. He fits the scheme that Christian Parker plays perfectly. He can play in the slot. He can play in the free safety role. He can play down in the box. He's kind of like that Swiss Army knife chess piece that Parker needed in the secondary. He's probably going to be our most impactful secondary guy right off the rip. He's one of Arizona's best players on defense last year. Really underrated, selling like a lot. PJ Locke they got from Denver on a 1-year deal. Kobe Durant they got on a 1-year, $5.5 million deal from the LA Rams. Kobe Durant was the 39th ranked PFF cornerback last year. He also had 3 picks. This guy's a ton of talent. He's a ball hawk. He's a proven starter in the league. And for Dallas to get Kobe Durant, 1 year, $5.5 million, I love that signing too. I like what Dallas has done with the secondary a lot. Yes, they missed out on some premier defensive end talent. They missed out on the linebacking group, but I think they could still address that with the rest of free agency and via draft. So with what they had to work with, I like what they've done. They traded Osa Odigizua. They also traded Solomon Thomas. Besides that, they didn't really lose anyone notable. So again, like kind of what Jerry had to work with cap-wise. They moved around the margins a little bit. They added some big pieces. They added bigger pieces than they have in free agency, and God knows how long.
That's the
and
big
I think
thing,
for
yeah.
what and you could maybe put a little higher or lower. I am a little disappointed with Jerry, flexing, how he's going to spin the bag this offseason. We all, as Cowboy fans, knew that probably wasn't a reality though, and it really wasn't in the making to happen.
He says that every year.
And again, like you said, Luke, like the teams that splurge, they normally end up losing.
Yeah,
these
they're
deals.
typically the losers.
The teams that wiggle around the margins are the ones that really win it. And for Dallas, you check the secondary box in free agency. You also brought in your best edge rushing on the team. I know it was a trade, but still free agency moves, trade, whatever. And Rashawn Gary, who you traded a 4th-round pick for. So it's not anything too sexy, but a B feels like a fair grade to me.
Also, I will say Rashawn Gary took a big old pay cut.
Yep.
And the Cowboys have an option at the end of that deal. Like that deal was such a win for the Cowboys. And then also they traded away Oso Digizua, got that 3rd-round pick in return because they only have 2 first-round picks, so that gives them another day 2 pick.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thing with the Cowboys is every year, Jerry's like, we're going all in the ass, we're going all up the butt, whatever he wants to make the catchphrase for that offseason.
Going all up the butt.
Yeah, right. But he never does it. He goes and signs frickin' Gerald McCoy, who's 38 years old, or Greg Hardy, who just assaulted someone. It's just never good moves. But like you said, Jalen Thompson, Kobe Durant. Durant's from Dallas. He's got a Cowboy.
Durant's a good player.
He's got a big old tattoo that says Dallas right here.
Yeah, no, I think Jerry, he
I
didn't overshoot it and he didn't undershoot it.
Yeah.
He met right in the middle, which is where you want to meet in
Yeah.
free agency. You don't want to be too low or too high. You want to meet right in the fine middle, which is what he did.
And I agree with you. I really wish, because there's still a decent amount of good edges on the board. Like you got Von Miller, Joey Bosa.
Yeah,
and they should be, especially like Vaughn, should be relatively inexpensive. Like maybe like $10 million a year for 1 year. You can afford that.
Von Miller's a Texas guy. I wouldn't be shocked if they brought him in
But
on
also,
a 1-year deal.
and they wanted him back when the Bills got him like 4 years ago for that huge contract. But I really think they needed to get a linebacker, because I don't want them reaching for need in the draft. They need to go best defensive player available, or if Jeremiah Love's there, you take him. But
and who's to say that there's not more trades to be made? There's still
true, very
Bobby
true.
Wagner's out there. Levante Davis isn't retired still, even though he probably some 10. But there's still bodies out there.
Yeah, and
they can
it's
go
just
get,
one.
so.
Yeah, just add one guy in free agency.
And honestly,
because
this team's biggest need was the secondary. For being honest, they also Donovan Wilson, free agent too. It's like this team needed secondary help.
Yeah,
probably even worse than any other spot. And they knocked it out of the park, I think, in free agency.
Yeah.
They also even added depth pieces in a PJ Locke.
Yeah.
So.
I was gonna say, I'd give him a higher grade, because I think one thing you didn't mention was some of the players they did that were already on the team. The Javonte Williams deal was fantastic. You got him for $8 million a year for a good running back. And like we've been talking about already, with not paying your players long-term big money, they tagged Pickens. They didn't fall into the trap of going to Cincinnati Bengals.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Jerry's going to
happens.
probably drag it out through the training camp, but as of now, we tagged him. We didn't give him the 4-year, $150 million contract that he wants, which is good. I hope it stays that way. And then I want to touch on the Osa trade as well. I mean, he was kind of the odd man out, I think, on this D-line at this point with Kenny Clark and
a lot of
Quentin
money.
Williams. Like, ton of money. I think he could have been a cap casualty in the year. So to flip him for a third-round pick, I think was good value.
Yeah, with their new 3-4, he wouldn't fit in.
No.
You got Kenny and Quinnen on the two outsides. You can't put him in the middle, obviously. He's not big enough. So
yeah, and like when you don't have a 2 or a 4, that 3 gives you a lot of flexibility in the draft. And yeah, like I said, if they could get one more linebacker before the draft, I'd give them up to like a B+, A-. Yeah.
All right, third team out of the East, the Washington Commanders. I think the Washington Commanders absolutely killed this free agency cycle. I'm going to give them an A. Now, so Washington, let's go through who they got. Amik Robertson, 2 years, $16 million. This guy wasn't that good last year, but he's a tackling machine. The secondary couldn't tackle at all last year. Dan Quinn said that he wants guys in the secondary that can play physical and tackle. They got Tim Settle from Houston, 3-year, $24 million. This guy's a very good run-stuffing D tackle. K'Lavon Chaisson, arguably the Patriots' best pass rusher. They got on a 1-year, $3 million deal.
It's my boy.
They got Chase on him for 1 year, $3 million?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Odafe Owe, 4 years, $100 million. Some might say this one was an overpay, but this team needs some pass rushing help terribly. And this guy had 7.5 sacks last year in 12 games. He had 10 sacks 2 years with Baltimore. This guy's pass rushing abilities are supreme. He's going to be their best pass rusher from day one. Might be a slight overpay, but when you got Jane Daniels on a rookie deal, you got to pay money to a guy like this to help solidify that D-line. And now their two best signings in my mind, Leo Chanel, 3 years, $24 million. This guy's only 25. He's an elite run defender. And since 2022, he is the 5th best linebacker according to PFF. This guy, he's not elite. He's a really good player. And to get a guy on $8 million a year that's only 25 to replace Bobby Wagner now, I think is a home run signing. And also Nick Cross, 2 years, $14 million. This guy's only 24 years old as well. You got two young guys that can help you win now and in the future. Nick Cross, an elite run defender, which they need badly, again, like I said, in the secondary. He's not as ready in coverage, but he's got all the physical tools, I think, to translate and work on his coverage abilities. And then also for cherry on top, they had a Rashad White, 1 year, $2 million. They let Kenneth Gainwell walk, who got $7 a year. I think that's a good, or they didn't have Kenneth Gainwell, but they got Rashad White, help out the pass catching back, 1 year, $2 million. And then Chigakonkwo, 3 years, $27 million. Jane Daniels loves his tight ends. Okonkwo, I think, has more untapped potential. He's been with Tennessee his whole career. He could be a real weapon for them. They're probably going to lose Debo, Marshawn Lattimore. They already lost Tyler Biotic. Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, and Von Miller. But this team, they added a lot of young talent to a team that needs young talent. They let these old guys walk. And I really think they hit it out of the park here. I think their defense is going to be much better. I think they added a few, marginal pieces with Okonkwo, Rashad White on offense. I give them an A. I think they absolutely did everything they needed to do, and they crushed this free agency cycle.
They did exactly what they're supposed to do with a quarterback and a rookie contract.
Yeah.
Jane Daniels has 3 years left.
They got young guys
on that contract. So all of the and even the big move they made at D end, when that contract really comes due, Jane Daniels will still be cheap, and so you can still get off that deal if you need to when you really have to pay Jane Daniels. That Rashad White move, I love that move.
Yeah.
Rashad White's a good player. They have a good O-line. They have no running back. I could really see Rashad White coming in and rushing for 1,000 yards and catching a bunch of balls and having close to 1,300 scrimmage yards next year for them. I don't really see why that's out of the cards. He's been fantastic in Tampa. I think that could be an awesome piece for their running game. And like you said, what they did around the margins with a team that had a ton of cap space that's ready to win now with a really good young quarterback, I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
I think it was fantastic.
I just love how that they didn't sign one or two. They just signed a bunch of B plus players.
Right.
Also young guys with upside like Nick Cross, Leo Chanel. It's rare that you can sign a free agent that's 24 or 25. That still has usually free agents. Free agents are usually they are what they are. These guys still have room to grow too, which I think is kind of crazy. And those are like the secondary guys they added too on top of this class.
Well, typically the guys you sign in free agency when they're older, you're paying for them at the peak of their value.
Yeah, these guys
and it
have
only
more.
goes down. So it's a really good point that these are the rare free agents that actually have room to go up.
Yes.
Whereas typically you're buying peak value and you really only decline.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's also, he got not one, but two, and then you could maybe say 3 or 4 of them. But also, Chase on his contract was 1 year, $11 million. It was
was it a base of 3?
So it's a $7 million signing bonus, and then a base with a minimum of 3 to 5.
That's what I saw then.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. All right. Last team in this division, the New York Football Giants. I've seen a lot of people hyping up their free agency moves. I don't really know how I feel about it. I'm going to give them a C-. So New York brought in Tremaine Edmonds, 3 for $36. They re-signed Jermaine Ulumanor, who I like a lot. Good deal. 3 for $39. A solid tackle for him last year. They brought in Harbaugh's guy, or Darius Washington, 1 year, $3 million. This guy's 5'8", 180, but he's really versatile, and I think he'll have a real role here in New York. He's also a really good special teams player. They brought in Greg Newsome on a 1 year deal, Patrick Ricard, Isaiah Likely, 3 for $40, Calvin Austin, bunch of Harbaugh guys. They also brought in Darnell Mooney, 1 year deal that's worth of the $10 million, which I don't know how I feel about it. They lost Wandale Robinson, Cordell Flott, Austin Schlottman, Daniel Bellinger, Dane Belton, Bobby Okereke, Raheem Nunez-Roches, and Grant Van Rotten, who was their starting guard last year. So in my mind, this team, they either remain neutral from where they were or they downgraded in my mind. Cordell Flott was their best secondary player last year. They're hoping Greg Newsome could take a step. Greg Newsome hasn't been that good in the NFL, so I don't know how much I love that. I think they overpaid in Isaiah Likely. And Tremaine Edmonds is taking a step back from what he was as well. There's a reason Chicago let him walk. I think he's a neutral move with Bobby Okereke as well. And, Dane Belton was okay for him. Van Rotten, their starting guard, they didn't replace him with anybody. So, I mean, for a team that has a quarterback on a rookie deal, it just feels like they did a lot of meh. They didn't make any splashes, and they didn't really improve in any of the players they lost either. So it's a C- for me.
No, I agree. It's pretty much you're taking the Ravens castaways.
Exactly.
Yeah, just the players they didn't want to re-sign. You get Likely, you get a Darius Washington, and then a bunch of guys I just don't even want on my team, honestly. Like I said, Tremaine Edmonds, the Bears were basically paying the same contract the Giants are now giving him, and they cut him. And, I mean, then Darnell Mooney, same thing. Falcons cut him. I do like the Calvin Austin signing. That's a nice, cheap player to have in your offense. But everything else, I was kind of getting scared of the Giants at the beginning of the offseason when they got John Harbaugh. That's all gone. I'm not frightened one bit. I do not like what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know how you could look at the roster right now and say it's really any better than what it was.
Think, dude, until Neighbors comes back, you got Darnell Mooney, Calvin Austin, and Buttfuck McGee.
Darnell Mooney, who also has hamstring.
Back by week 1.
Yeah, but Darnell Mooney too also has some of the worst hammy problems in the league as well. I don't know. It's like you're paying Mooney and Austin a $15 million a year contract combined. I'd rather just go back and get Wandale back. I mean, I don't
exactly.
know.
Wandale's more talented, or I'd even rather overpay with your rookie QB and get Juwan Jennings for 20. I mean. Yeah. It doesn't.
Theo
make
Johnson
sense.
was. I would have rather just scratched all the Likely too and just bring back Wandale. Let Theo Johnson.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I do like Likely.
I think a lot of it's the Harbaugh thing. Harbaugh was like, okay, if I'm going to sign with y'all, you're going to get my guys out of.
They got him for Jordan Hill money, whatever that guy's name was from the Dolphins.
Julian Hill.
Yeah, Julian Hill.
I mean, it just. If I'm a Giants fan, this just feels very underwhelming. And I see a lot of people are jerking this offseason for him. I don't really see it.
I think, just to play devil's advocate, I understand the practicality of player in, player out. It doesn't look on paper, and maybe the stats don't say it on paper that it's going to be better. But I think you're underselling the value of having John Harbaugh there compared to the coaching that they've had, coaching the players that they have. They've had some of the worst coaching for the last half a decade.
Yeah,
but Harbaugh has proven he's one of the better coaches, if not one of the best coaches in the league, and he's bringing in his guys he knows works for his system. So, yes, I understand that on paper it might not look as good as some people think, but I think you're underselling potentially the value of what Harbaugh brings to this organization, and that's the biggest acquisition of the entire offseason by far.
Let me
the other thing is, I wouldn't want to pay Wandale Robinson 4 years, $70 million. That to me, I think I can find a receiver in the second or third round that's probably just as good.
But Isaiah Likely 3 for 40.
That was a little bit of an
all just hype at this point.
I agree. That was a little bit of an overpay, but they're not paying him $20 million. They're not paying him $18 million. It's 3 for what, 40? It's not that extreme. They had the cap to do it. I just think the Harbaugh move has a lot more gravity to it than I think you're giving it credit for, and I think you're looking at it a little too much just on paper and the stats of it than how this actually typically plays out when bad teams get real coaches that set a real culture. I mean, we see it year in and year out. We saw it with Jim with the Chargers. We see it when these coaches come in and revamp programs. They bring in their guys and they install their systems, and that's what I think he's going to do here, and that's what I think he did in this free agency class, bringing in these guys.
My thing is just he got guys like he said, Likely at a position that was not a need, really. Theo Johnson was fine. They didn't have anyone really in the linebacker room. They cut Okereke and they signed Tremaine Edmonds to this big deal, which they're pretty much the same player at this point. I mean, like we said, the Bears gave up on Edmonds, and then their secondary. I mean, you're replacing Cordell Flott with a Darius Washington. I can understand.
Well, let's see. Tremaine ends with John Harbaugh. We're talking. I mean, he loves his middle linebackers. Like this guy's. I mean, with Chicago,
but
for example,
but also the Ravens defense sucked cock last year.
Not the second half of the year. It was horrible the first half of the year, but it got good again at the back.
Yeah,
half.
I mean, I like our Darius Washington, but like also too like this team, like the secondary was their biggest weakness. Cordell Flott was their best.
They didn't address
cornerback.
holes. Yeah,
they lost him, and now they're taking a flyer on Greg Newsome, who's really been trash for most of his career. So like the secondary, like our Darius Washington's a fine player, but he might be more of just like a specialty guy. You know, it's just I don't know. The front seven was already good. Like I get it. What you're saying, like with bringing in the Ricards of the world, like those are Harbaugh guys. He wants to establish the culture, and I get that. But like the moves they made outside of that, I just don't think were very good.
I agree with you.
It's like Rodgers trying to bring Alan Lazard with him everywhere or something. Like,
I agree with you that on paper they look like lateral moves, but I just think we see this year in and year out when bad teams with bad coaching get a foundational cornerstone at the coaching position. And it not only do you revamp the culture, but your players naturally just get better at what they do. Like, it happens every year. There's not an exact science really behind it, but we see it year in and year out in the league. And it's more than just stats on a piece of paper and PFF grades. Like,
yeah, but I mean, are we sure Harbaugh is still really that guy? I know he's better than what they had, obviously, right? But, like, I mean, a lot of people to me, too, have flocked kind of John Harbaugh for this cycle so far, too, because they haven't really done anything. And there's a reason Baltimore let him go.
Sure.
Like, it hasn't been good with Lamar. I mean, the guy has barely won the playoffs with loaded teams. There's a reason that he walked, and now he's in New York.
Who's his offensive coordinator this year? Because my problem with him is also he's had Lamar Jackson carrying his offense for the last 6 years. Like, I don't know.
Matt Nagy also. I don't know how I feel about Matt Nagy.
No, I do not like that one bit. Like, that's one thing too. Is like, all right, if
Matt Nagy's been under Reed the last 5 years. I mean, he was an offensive genius when the Bears hired
their
him.
offense only got worse every year he was there. But
Mahomes won an MVP while he was there.
Okay, well, that's Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about Jackson Dart.
I'm not
and the
comparing
shitty
Jackson Dart to Mahomes. I'm just saying, like, I think you can do worse than Matt Nagy. As your
but what I'm saying is Harbaugh doesn't have a grip on the offense, and I just don't think he fully understands. Like, the Giants' O-line is not good one bit, especially up the middle. Like, why would you pay Isaiah Likely $12 million a year when you could have got Elijah Vera Tucker or like Biotic or something? Like, it just doesn't. I just don't. They didn't fill a lot of holes, and now I feel like they're going to go into the draft picking players to fill holes because they have so many still, and that's my main thing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, let's move on.
NFC West.
NFC West. Is that me?
That's you.
Oh baby. All right. NFC West. I'm starting with the numbers. The Niners. San Fran 49ers. I give them an A-. I really, really like what the Niners have done this offseason. Before I get into the players, I'm going to say, like, it seems like, aside from the Trent Williams thing, I will say that is something that's ongoing that we don't know what's going on. But other than that, like, they're filling every hole they need. If you look at their roster, their depth chart, top to bottom, like, you could probably name every damn player on their team besides an offensive lineman, which is understandable. But yeah, let me get into it. So they signed Mike Evans, Christian Kirk. They re-signed Tongs at tight end. So that revamps their entire receiver core. They get everyone back. They'll get Kittle hopefully halfway through the year next year. You know, probably draft a late running back to be behind McCaffrey. And then they also, on defense, they re-signed Dre Greenlaw, which, if we all remember, him and Fred Warner were menaces when they were playing together. I mean, I think they are the perfect complements to each other, and it's so exciting to see them back. Just because he's an Arkansas boy, woo pig. Not exciting because they're on the Niners. Then they got Osa Odigizua. They failed so much last year to put any pressure up the middle on the defense, and that's exactly what Osa does. He's not the most talented guy in the world, but he's going to give it his all, and he's a pretty consistent player. PFF-wise, go look him up. He's like a top 15 pass rusher and run stopper. He's a good player, and he fits their defense perfectly. They lost Kendrick Bourne, and I mean that's really the only notable name besides Matt Hennessy because it's a fun name. But I really like what they're doing. I I almost want to give him an A+, but I don't know. I'll give you an A+ if you make yourself the new favorites in the NFL, but I don't know that. I really, really like what they did, though.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Drake Greenlaw signing a lot, obviously. Like you just said, him and Fred Warner were dynamite together. The guy, though, he got cut by Denver for a reason. He's had some injury problems. And I don't know, man. It's just like Mike Evans, Christian Kirk. You're getting two older Mike Evans, extremely injury-prone receivers at this point. This receiver room hasn't been healthy for God knows how long, and you give out a 3-year deal to Mike Evans, who's obviously out of his prime at this point, and they're saying he's going to be in a featured role. A lot of people like the Mike Evans signing. I personally am going to zig while everyone's zagging. I don't really love the Mike Evans signing. The guy might be one bad hammy away from calling it raps, honestly.
Yeah, they got that power plant, too.
With George Kittle out and Mike Evans like as now your like bona fide one, I would be hard for me to give it an A, to be honest, for that reason.
My thing is, though, like, they definitely needed to revamp the wide receiver room, and they've gone beyond that. And they could still take one in the first round because that's one thing, too, is they get to go into the draft picking best player available. They don't have, besides maybe if Trent Williams is gone, they don't have any needs.
I mean, they still got some needs on defense.
Yeah, they're
what do you think?
Their corners.
Yeah, I mean,
their corners were solid last year.
I mean, they could use some more guys on the outside of Bosa and Odigizua.
They could use a lot on the defense.
They could use a nose tackle badly.
Yeah.
Alfred Collins is their starting nose tackle. I mean, yeah, their secondary is a bunch of nobodies who I've never even heard of. So
their secondary, you don't know Renardo Green, Jair Brown, Malik Mustafa went to Texas.
Their secondary played good last year because Bob Saleh was in there. Bob Saleh is gone now, and like the defense is not these guys that balled with Bob. Not even balled; it was like a middle of the pack defense. But like you can't expect that defense to perform, and these guys perform at the same level with Bob Saleh now out of town.
I hope it's close because they got Raheem Morris, and I mean that's another Shanahan guy. I mean, they're going to run
about a Shanahan guy.
They're going
to defense.
I know, but they're going to run a similar system. Why would they completely stray away from what they did last year?
Because we've seen the Bob Saleh difference. We've seen it more times than not. It's a big difference.
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but like I think the Bob Saleh loss is the biggest factor of this entire offseason for them. I also agree with you, Cole. I'm not a big fan of the Mike Evans signing. Like, I just think 3 years, $60 million is ridiculous for a guy of that age with the injuries he had last year. I do like the Tong signing. I think that was smart. I like bringing Greenlaw back. I like the Osa deal. I like the Kirk deal. It's 1 year for $6 million. He showed flashes last year. I think he can be a nice number 3 as long as Pearsaw's healthy. But like you just said, Cole, Kittle's going to be gone for probably the whole season. I mean, hopefully he comes back by like mid-November at the best. You're looking at an offense that Christian McCaffrey, this is his injury year. If we're going the last like 6 years, it's like awesome year, hurt year. Hurt. Hold on. McCaffrey goes down in week 3. And let's say Trent Williams is gone, which doesn't look like it's going in a great direction. This offense is going to be rough. And on top of losing Bob Saleh on the defense, you're going to get Fred Warner back. You're going to get Nick Bosa back. So it might cancel out. But what Bob Saleh did last year with a defense full of just kind of ragtag players and putting them in positions to succeed, you're not going to have that. I do agree Raheem Morris is a good coach. I think he's going to be able to make do with what he's got. But like you said, we've seen the Bob Saleh difference, and I think we're going to see it again this year. So I would probably go B+. So I'm not too upset about it. Yeah. But I think you might be underselling a little bit of some underlying factors that could really plague the 49ers.
Yeah, well, season. My thing is too also like you said, McCaffrey's getting older. Most of their team is getting older. So this is a year to go all in. Like after the next 3 years, the only core you really have is Brock Purdy. You know what I mean? Like they have a good little window right now, and they need to go for it. But I mean, you can't just, and I know you didn't say it, but you can't just assume that like Bosa and Warner and all these guys are going to get hurt again, right? Because last year,
I said they'll be back.
No, and I said you didn't say that.
Yeah.
But you know, you got to think last year, Brock Purdy goes down, everyone's like they're screwed. Well, they won like 5 games with Mac Jones. Like Shanahan just knows how to figure it out. He knows how to win, and I believe in him. I know it'll be a little bit harder on the defense, but I think like. Y'all are saying like the offense.
The defense is going to be better. Like the Osa deal was a really good low-key deal. They need him to fill that spot.
And they're getting 2 All-Pros back.
Yes, I think defense is going to be better. Even with Bob out, the talent area is going to be better. I'm more concerned about the all-in on the offense because like the offense now could be a ticking time bomb. Like what you said, with McCaffrey injury, Mike Evans goes down. And Mike Evans is going to be in a featured role, man. I don't know if he can do that at this point. In the passing game,
I don't think he
no, Mike Evans said when he was signing, he said he wants to go to a team that has that he could be a featured role in that has a Super Bowl contender. So
I think it's going to be a Devontae Adams role.
They're going to
from last year. Red zone.
Then who are they going to? Then they don't have a Puka. They don't have a Puka.
I think they're going to try to make it Pearsall.
Yeah, Pearsall, Christian Kirk.
And again, Pearsall
that scares me
Pearsall. It's just I don't know, a team that has terrible injury problems every year, and you go sign Mike Evans, and then
also
to be your guy who's one of the most injury-prone receivers at this point in the league is scary. It's definitely scary.
And that's what I'm saying is he's in the he's in the exact same boat as Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, right? He's
Mike
old.
Evans?
Yeah, he's old. He's injury prone. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah, but it's
he's on a big contract.
But is that what you want to do? Is keep going to that old injury-prone player?
Well, if it's only a 3-year contract and that's how long you have the other two guys, why not?
I mean, I don't know. I think the Mike Evans signing, a lot of people on paper see it and they love it because he's Mike Evans. He's a Hall of Famer. But I don't know. I don't love it. I think it's okay as a signing, but.
No, I agree. I've never seen Shanahan have a receiver of Mike Evans' style play. But I think that opens a new door.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about that.
What's the guarantees on Mike's contract?
Oh, I just had it.
The thing too is everyone will probably share us the guarantees, but every single contract has certain guarantees. So I try to just look at the contract from face value because we can get into the guarantees on every single fucking deal.
Well, no, because if you get into the
structured
guarantees, that shows you how many years it truly is for the team.
I know, but you know what I'm
Mike
saying? Though,
Evans,
we can say that on every single deal. Though.
Mike Evans.
I think it's more relevant for a guy like Mike Evans.
Yeah,
Mike Evans is guaranteed $14 million.
Yeah.
Out of the entire contract?
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It is a great contract.
It's a 1-year contract.
It's guaranteed 14 out of 60.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's
all right,
great.
I take it back. Then I do like that signing because honestly, that's really a 1-year $14 million.
And think about it too. They literally took the Ayuk money and put it to Mike Evans. That's all they did.
Well, there's also 2 moves that are left in their chamber that these are bullets they can fire. One is getting rid of Ayuk. You're going to clear a ton of cap space. I don't think you're going to get much back for him, but I think that's a beneficial move for them. And then the big one's Mac Jones. I mean, I think right now they could probably get a second.
I would if I was them.
You can definitely get a third for him. I think you can probably get a second. I think they're holding out for a first. But with the age of this roster, I'd really like to see them move him. Even if you can just get a second for him, get someone. You might as well go all in on Purdy right now.
Yeah.
This is going to be. I mean, Purdy's probably already had the best team around him he's ever going to have in his career. But this also could be one of the most talented teams he's ever going to have around him in his career. Doesn't make sense for you to just hold an asset like Mac Jones and not capitalize on it to get a guy who can help you while Purdy's playing. Yeah. So I'd like to see them make that move, and then if they do that, I think I can get up to the A-, and I might even be able to get higher than the A- depending on what they do with that move, because that move could be monumental for them.
And it's also a thing of Shanahan's proven he can turn a backup into a starter. Why not flip the one that, you really can flip for a second or first and just go sign another guy?
Agreed.
And also Mike Evans' contract is 3 years, $42 million. So he's only getting 14 a year. That's what Spotrack's telling me.
3 for 60. I swear, all these sources all say different.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm also ignore that. Whatever. Regardless, it's 14 guaranteed. That's what matters.
That is what matters.
But yeah, let's go on to the next one. I think
3. This says 3 for 60. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Briefly, do you want to just do the NFC for this pod?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
because we're I think we've been going 40 minutes on 5 teams.
Yeah,
I actually I want to
Yeah.
really flesh.
Oh yeah, no, this is fun. I'm enjoying this.
I want to flesh them.
All right. Next team, I got the LA Rams. We all know they've been cooking a little bit this offseason, having a little bit of that F them picks motto. So, what they did with that, they went and got Trent McDuffie for their own first-round pick. They still have the number 13 pick in the draft that they got from the Falcons last year, which, great trade by them. They traded an inmate for the 13 pick, pretty much. And then they also got Jalen Watson, also from the Chiefs, on a 3-year deal. And they re-signed Cam Kroll, who was really, really good for them. Another pig suey. But yeah, those additions, they lost Kobe Durant and Roger McCreary, the 2 corners in those spots. But I think anyone on the planet is taking those 2 guys over the ladder, right? Yeah. So insane upgrade in their secondary, easily their biggest weakness, and they obviously knew it. That's why they attacked it head on. They re-signed Tyler Higbee. And I mean, that's really all they've done in all of offseason. I think their team is really stacked. They could maybe use like a guard or a linebacker, but they addressed their biggest weakness. We all thought going into the playoffs, they might have been the scariest team aside from Seattle. Like people were saying, that was almost a Super Bowl right there. So I gave them an A. You're taking an amazing team, pushing the chips in, addressing your need, and then if you take into account last offseason at all, getting them another first-round pick this year that is, like 13 spots higher at 13, their pick now. I mean, they are set up to be really, really good this year. And, I give them an A. Because it's not about how many moves they made. It's just about how I envision them going into the next season. Really on this grade.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I mean, this was a team. This team was already loaded. They didn't need to make a ton of moves, and their biggest weakness was their cornerback room, which they more than addressed it by going and getting the Chiefs All-Pro and Pro Bowl corner and McDuffie and Jalen Watson. You can make a case that's the best 1-2 cornerback team in the NFL now. So their biggest area of concern, they overhaul it and address it dramatically. They also.
Poor Chiefs.
They also still have the 13 pick, and they still could maybe go sign, a veteran receiver if they want to, or maybe they go say F it and take Mekhi Lemon at 13. So like it's hard to not give them an A. Like this team that was already scary looks even scarier now. And their one area where they got exposed last postseason is now fully addressed. So yeah, I think it's an A.
I think like Lemon or the guard from Penn State, those would be money picks right there. Like.
They could just anything on the defense.
They could still. They could.
I mean, they can go best player available.
They can get anyone.
They could still go in free agency.
Even QB.
I could even see Tyreek Hill sign there on a 1-year, $10 million deal. If they do something, or go get Debo on a 1-year. There's still veteran
Juwan
receivers.
Jennings.
Yeah, there's still veterans out there. They can go get on a 1-year deal. Say, hey, you want to go win a Super Bowl? Sign with us.
I love
We'll
your
probably go
idea,
win
but
it.
I don't think they would want Tyreek in the locker room. But
it's just an example.
No, but I love the concept. I
Yeah,
love
just
the
an
concept,
example.
though. Yeah, like Juwan. Yeah.
Oh man, I would be all over it. If
Like
they got
or
Tyreek.
Mekhi.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
love that.
Puka, Devontae. I mean, he just fits their style of play. What they need a burner.
Oh my god!
I mean, they've been using Tutu Atwell as like the burner for pass. Imagine you throw Tyreek in with Puka and Devontae, the run game, Stafford. Woo.
No, I completely agree. Their entire goal this offseason should have been go all in on Matthew Stafford in this 1 to 2 year window they have left. It's exactly what they did. Like you said, they addressed the only really issue they had on their entire team, which was cornerback. And like you just said, they completely addressed it, probably over-addressed it.
Yeah.
I mean, they went out and got 2 fantastic
They could even
corners.
take another one in the first.
Yeah, they don't really have a hole, which for a team that good, drafting as high as they're drafting at 13, to just be able to say, what if Sonny Styles falls to us? Maybe we don't even need him. We can just take him.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really matter. They don't need to draft off need because they're this good and they have a pick this high. What if Jeremiah Love falls to them?
Dude.
I mean, we know the Saints and the Chiefs already have running backs. Then we've got the Bengals and the Dolphins and the Cowboys.
What if Caleb Downs falls?
What if Caleb's down? Like, they can take the best player available at 13 who can immediately impact winning for this team right now, and they have the coaches to be able to utilize these guys in ways that not only they're the best, but the team needs. So, let's say they take a linebacker who's really good in coverage. They can use him as like a split safety almost. Like, they can do so many different things.
McNeil Warren would be sick.
Yeah,
there,
they can do so many different things with a guy they can take at 13. They still have some cap space, and they're doing exactly what they need to be doing in that.
Dude,
I love their
and just
offseason.
think they've proven that they are a really smart front office. Like, think if the Falcons lost one more game, that pick might be at like 9 or 10, and they're getting a prime time player. Like, they could even trade back again, get another first round the next year. You know what I mean? Like, they are.
Yeah.
Les Snead is a genius. I love the way he operates his front office.
and the biggest thing too, it's like for them, it's like, okay, Seattle, and if you're why am I blanking on the GM's name? What the fuck is his name?
Schneider.
Yeah, if you're John Schneider.
Yeah.
They haven't made moves. LA made moves. Sam Darnold beat us because our secondary didn't hold up. Now, if you're Seattle, your biggest target, like, okay, let's run that back. We're ready to rock and roll now. We got an all-pro and Trey McDuffie and a borderline Pro Bowler, Jalen Watson. Now, Sam Darnold, you think you can go gash our secondary again? think twice. It's not going to happen this time.
And Stafford already gashes ours.
Yep.
And we're not. And we definitely didn't do anything this
Yep,
offseason.
we lost Tariq Woolen. We lost Boy Mafe. Like, their biggest enemy, their rival, down. They went up. They're I don't know how they're not the favorites at this point. They got to be the head and shoulders favorites. I don't know what the Vegas odds are.
I think we briefed this last pod and we didn't go fully into it, and probably shouldn't go fully into it here. It's probably better for a summer podcast. But, like, again, I want to note, is this the best on paper team that we've seen in the last 5 years?
It's
Eagles like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
it's right there. It may not be
no,
the best,
but
but
it
it's
is.
right
It
there.
might
Up
separate
there.
from Hurts. Like he might
Well, I think
be
he
the
definitely
difference.
already. Yeah, he definitely has.
He's
Yeah.
them two are. I'm saying like the whole roster as a whole.
Yeah.
He might be the difference maker. The take.
But
But
no,
I mean,
it's a Madden roster.
The only weakness they had was the cornerback position. Now they have arguably the best cornerback position in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I would say
this roster is fantastic.
they could use a linebacker. They could use a linebacker.
Sure.
Yeah. But then again, their defense doesn't rely on one. Yeah. It's
Well,
just
that's the thing.
they get enough pressure. Like
They're at 13, like you said. There's going to be someone who falls in love with Gerald McCoy, and Gerald McCoy might fall right down to 13.
Gerald McCoy.
Or not Gerald McCoy, Jermon McCoy, whatever his name is.
The old buck cowboy.
Yeah.
we were talking about him earlier.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. He falls to 13. Vikings, maybe at 18, just love him. They move up, give up their first next year. You know who they take at 18? C.J. Allen. And they just plug in a ready-to-go linebacker
Or they take
to
the
dominate
third
middle
receiver left on the board. That'd be Lemon
Yeah.
or Tyson or whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they use him as just a gadget guy, and McVay can use him all over the field. I
Yep.
agree. Love it.
Yeah, that's a fun one. All right, now we got the reigning NFL Super Bowl champions, the Seattle Seahawks. Congrats to them. So when I was looking at their roster, okay, yeah, let me go through what they've done. So they re-signed Rashid Shaheed, 3 years, $51 million, which it's about $17 a year. I'm on the fence about how much I like this move. It's a lot of money for a receiver, but for how much he does just on the offense, but he's also a special teams player. And dude, go back and watch those playoffs. He made a huge impact on special teams, and it's really hard not to retain a guy like that when you see things like that. Like, especially when you're a coach like Mike McDonald that really values defense and special teams. Kind of like a Harbaugh or something. I mean, that's his
You also
alma
trade
matter.
the pick for him, too, so you want to justify that.
Exactly. Yes, that too. It's kind of like how I was kind of mad that the Jags gave up on Greg Newsome, but Greg Newsome sucked when he got to the Jags. But Rashid Shaheed soared when he got to the Seahawks. He was flying with the Hawks, man. But they also re-signed Josh Jobe, 3 years, $24 million. I think this guy is just a perfect scheme for their slot corner area. He's just a tough player. He likes to hit dudes. He likes to play rough. And he just fits the DNA of that defense. They've added Rodney Thomas, Emmanuel Wilson to be the backup running back, Noah Igbinohe, and then D'Anthony Bell, 2 defensive backs. They've lost Tariq Woolen, Kenneth Walker, Kobe Bryant, Boy Mafe, and Derek Young. So that is 4 key contributors on the Super Bowl team. And I mean, it's really hard to bring back everyone on a Super Bowl team. Any team that's won it has known. You could ask my sources personally. But in my opinion, I give them a B for what they've done so far. I really think they need another running back. I think they need another player in the secondary, and just maybe possibly another DN. Just fill the holes that you've had vacated from these guys leaving. I mean, John Schneider has shown that he can draft and develop guys. I mean, even Boye Mafe had never really put up big numbers in his career, and he got like a $15-20 million a year contract.
Might have been overpay, but
yeah, it was definitely an overpay by the Bengals. But Boye Mafe, if you're watching, I don't mean that, man. I don't. But yeah, like it's just hard to bring everyone back when you win the championship. Everyone's price has skyrocketed because they get to watch you on the highest level, you know. And usually everyone's playing at their top notch. I think Kenneth Walker, what would he have gotten at the beginning if last offseason, right? He probably have gotten $7.5 million.
Yeah.
This year he got 15, literally doubled it. So It's just hard to bring him back. But yeah, I think they definitely need to address just running back, secondary, D out of the draft. And I think they will be flying high again, man.
Yeah, I personally would probably be in the C's with my grade. I get the Shaheed signing. Shaheed did open up the offense. He was an ace for you on special teams. You traded the pick for him, so it feels like you need to bring him back. Josh Jobe, solid player to bring him back. Tariq Woolen almost lost you that game against the Rams. I understand letting Tariq Woolen go. It does make it a little tougher pill to swallow when Tariq gets a 1-year, $15 million deal. In Seattle, you still have a lot of cap room, and you maybe could have got him back on a 1-year, $18 million. He was still a really good player for you. I think Boy Mafe was definitely smart letting him walk. But, I mean, Kenneth Walker, your Super Bowl MVP, is gone now. Zach Charbonnet might miss a lot next year. You don't even have another running back worth a shit on the roster. So it's hard for me to look at this as a B. If they were cap-strapped, I would understand a little bit more. But this team isn't like most Super Bowl teams. Most Super Bowl teams are heavily cap-strapped. This team, I know they will have future deals coming up, but for the current moment, right now as we're speaking in 2026, they still have a good amount of cap room out there. There's still moves to be made. For me, to this point, though, I would probably be at a C for them. I think they've definitely lost more than they've gained, and they've lost really like Kenneth Walker, the heart and soul of that the playoff run.
All right.
He's gone now, and you've done absolutely nothing to replace him.
Question.
So,
2 questions, actually, I guess, for both y'all. So, Rashid Shaheed, let's say he got, I don't care to do the math. Let's say he got 17 a year from them, 17 and a half. How, if you were a Seahawk fan, GM, whatever, and you saw him sign with someone else, let's say even an NFC team, for 18 a year, would you be pissed, or would you say, glad we didn't pay that?
I would say glad we didn't pay that.
Okay.
That was one thing I was going to bring up. I get that Rashid Shaheed, you traded for him. He opened up the offense. He's a fantastic gadget guy, and he's a fantastic special teams player. I would personally find it very hard to pay him and not pay Kenneth Walker, given the Zach Charbonnet situation and given how bad this running back draft class is. They're not going to be able to replace that in the draft.
No.
The running backs are gone. They are going into next season with Emmanuel Wilson as the starter.
They'll be adding someone.
Hey, they got George Halani.
They might add like Kareem Hunt. They might add
someone.
They'll draft someone in the 3rd round and hopefully he's fine. But none of those prospects are really tantalizing. I just think not replacing a guy like Rashid Shaheed because he does a lot of things that not a lot of people can do, but paying him more than what you would have had to pay Kenneth Walker, that's a really hard pill for me to swallow.
Okay, I would say that Rashid Shaheed, his special teams alone is worth $5 to $6 million.
Yeah, no, it is. And
agreed.
The Kenneth Walker thing, I think they actually made the smart move letting him walk to KC.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The problem is what you just mentioned, Luke, is this is maybe the worst running back draft class we've seen in the last 30 years. This running back draft, outside of Jeremiah Love, maybe Mike Washington hits, maybe Jadarian Price is good. Outside of those 3 guys, you're going to be lucky to get a serviceable role guy in this running back class. This running back class is terrible, and this offense, Sam Darnold was great, but this offense is predicated on the run game. I know they lost Kubiak. The guy they brought in.
They lost him. That's a big loss.
But the guy they brought in is running the same exact scheme. This is a run-first, zone-heavy scheme, rushing attack. And if you don't have a running back in there that's worth half of his shit, it's going to affect the offense. I don't care what everyone says about the O-line, about the pass game, about the run. Kenneth Walker is an elite running back. Zach Charbonnet was okay. He's hurt. So that's a very big deal for me. But they had the cap to do it though. That's the harder part about it.
I think that's the biggest thing, and you've obviously noted it a couple times. But I do think in a vacuum, probably not smart to pay a running back who's had injury concerns, who's never been a perennial Pro Bowl guy, $14 to $15 million a year because he had an awesome playoff run and was a Super Bowl MVP. But you're a Super Bowl caliber team, obviously, and you had $60 million coming into this free agency, and instead of utilizing that with all the young players you have on rookie deals, on a quarterback contract that you have, who's obviously a good quarterback at this point,
it's basically a rookie kind of deal,
contract that you can move off of at any time, even if you wanted to not utilize those tools to either re-sign some of these guys or go get guys to replace them.
Or tag Kenneth.
Tag
him.
Or you're like you said, give Reek a 1-year, $18 million contract. Yeah. Why not? You have the money to do it. You're not restricting yourself in the future. I just think it was a failure on their front office to really capitalize on the situation that they have the next couple of years.
Okay, I completely agree, because I was about to say, clearly we've talked about how this is a weak running back class. Let's say John Schneider's thinking about that. He has like 25, 30 million in cap space left. And he's like, we need, because I was going to say, would you pay Kenneth Walker 20 million for 1 year and then let him walk so you can get a good running back next year when there's hopefully more? But then again, you just tag him.
Could have tagged him.
You could
one
have
year,
tagged him for
15
15.
million.
I would have tagged him in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Of course. Oh my
You would have
gosh.
tagged him, and
Of
you
course.
could still save your future cap. You
Because
tag him, bring him back on a
how
1 year
is
deal.
how is he not going to play on that too? That
Why-
is
why-
good money.
Why
for
wouldn't
running
you
back.
tag Kenneth Walker, Reek, or Boy Mafe? Any of them.
Yeah.
You didn't use it on one of them, and you had the money to do
I-
it without restricting
I think that
your
was
future
dumb.
flexibility. You could have tagged any of them; it would have been a good move. Even though you're overpaying for a year,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because you have the cap.
It's 1 year. Yeah, you have the cap for that year. Then you worry about
Right.
the money for next year.
It has
Next year,
nothing to do with your future
Yeah,
flexibility.
it just feels like they're almost a little too cocky because of how dominant their Super Bowl run was. And like we said, the Rams, I think, took full advantage of these mishaps. We might go through next season and it might be just fine. We might be like idiots, and John Schneider may just be the best GM in all football. But I think right now it doesn't look that good for him.
No, I agree.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next. We spent a lot of time on these ones. All right, the Cardinals. This one should be quick and easy.
Yeah, the three we just talked about were all very interesting. with
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of big
very-
moves.
God, yeah,
Like
those-
there was a lot to talk about there, which I don't think there's going to be much.
Yeah,
for
this
certainly on
Cardinals
some
one
of the other ones.
should fly by. So the Cardinals, they obviously lost Kyler Murray. They added Gardner Minshew to fill his place, whole long-haired frat boy. Signed Tyler Algier, a move I love. Signed Elijah Wilkinson, a lineman I have not heard of personally. And then they got Kendrick Bourne on a 2-year deal, cut Dalvin Tomlinson, and obviously they have the new head coach, Mike LaFleur. I just gave them a C. There's really not a lot you can do right now if you're Arizona. If I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I'm selling the whole team. Okay? I'm selling the team. I'm going to go get me a yacht, go get me a penthouse in Miami, something. I'm done with this. This is not any game I want to play. This is not competitive even. Like they're looking to go into next year with Jacoby Brissett. And I mean, I love Algier. Honestly, they could have one of those teams where it's just trying to be the Cowboys of last year, trying to outscore every opponent and not do crap on defense. But
That ain't gonna happen.
it ain't gonna happen. You got Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Yeah.
The Algier signing's good. Some Isaac Samalo, decent signing.
We'll see if LaFleur comes and does
Arizona.
anything.
Someone would really need to break this down to go full fledged. I mean, they have a ton of cap. I don't really even know what you do if you're Arizona. Your team's horrible.
Like I think they should have done like slightly what like the Commanders did, just or like even the Panthers, just slightly overpay for some quality players to have on your team until you're competitive. But I just gave them a C. I mean, honestly, they C minus. It's just you have so much cap space and you didn't do crap with it, and your roster is still just depleted top to bottom. I will say I love the weapons that they have on offense, but there's really no one to throw it to them and no one besides Paris Johnson to protect the guy throwing it to them.
I will just say, like, I think it's quite clear what their plan is, and it's to suck next season and to maintain complete cap flexibility for when they draft their quarterback
Okay,
next
that's smart.
year. And
Yeah.
for that reason, it's like we've been talking about multiple times so far, they avoided the disaster contracts. They didn't give out the $100 million contract to Boy Mafe. They didn't give out the $100 million contract to Jalen Phillips. They didn't give out 120. They didn't go sign Alec Pierce for $30 million a year. They didn't go get Owe from the Chargers for $25 million a year. They avoided those disaster contracts and maintained complete flexibility. And if I'm the Cardinals, that's exactly what I would do. Why would I go overpay for guys at the top of the market right now when I know they're probably going to be depreciating assets when I have no chance to win anyway and Jacoby Brissett's my quarterback? So, like, I understand that they didn't do anything and they didn't really capitalize on their cap space, but, like, I don't know if that was in the best interest of their team, given that they're going into next season with Jacoby Brissett. Like, I think it makes more sense to focus on that next season and maintain your flexibility moving forward.
I agree with what you're saying, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that, but like on the flip side too, it's like at some point you got to do something for A, to get the fan base involved,
Yeah.
and B, for whatever quarterback you get next year, you can't retool the roster in 1 year. So I think this team is so talent deprived. I would have liked to see them maybe get a few guys out there to just get some talent on the team and be maybe somewhat competitive, get the fan base involved, and for the guy they get next year. Because, the team next year, whoever they draft, the guy's going to be walking into just a dumpster fire situation.
Okay.
obviously.
Okay.
And I get the
What about
flexibility.
the Raiders?
Let me ask you this, though.
What about the Raiders? Fernando Mendoza's walking into that, but look what they did with all their flexibility.
Yeah.
They brought in a lot of good guys.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
let
the
me-
Raiders could have also started this a year ahead of schedule. You know,
sure.
a better free
Very-
agency
cut
class.
Kyler last
I get
year.
it, and I agree with you. I don't think you go out and splurge a ton of money, but maybe sign one or two key contributors.
Yeah.
that
Get
you
like a
can-
Devin Lloyd.
to just start
Just
the rebuild
something.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
Agreed.
You know,
Just
'cause-
get some leadership in the clubhouse,
yeah,
some winning
because
culture.
They got nothing.
But I will say though, okay, if you're the GM of the Cardinals, you got to think about this. Let's say you're going to get the 1 pick next year. Okay, let's just say that is going to happen. You're going to get a quarterback next year. You already have a good wide receiver room. You have a top 2 or 3 tight end in the NFL, and you have Algier. You have one good tackle and a crap O line. Are you going to take let's say Arvell Reese is gone. Are you going to take David Bailey or Maiwana from Miami? The tackle.
I'm probably taking David Bailey.
I'd go David
I'm probably.
Bailey.
If
You think?
teams like
They
this,
have no defensive
well, in
talent.
teams like this, I'm picking the safer player, because I can't miss that pick.
Right.
With David at 3, you're not going to miss with David Bailey at 3.
And
I
I already have a good tackle.
Yeah.
Like, I understand having 2 awesome tackles is awesome, but, like, having one is way more important.
It's also but would you then say they need to go O-line with their second-round pick? Because it's literally...
I think you need to go
Yeah, I mean,
interior.
we're
offensive
going
line.
down
I would
a
just
whole
say-
rabbit hole here now.
I would just
but-
say anything because it's literally him and then nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll-
but
But
yeah.
on defense, they've got literally nothing.
Yeah,
outside
they
of Buddha.
yeah.
They got Josh Sweat.
Yeah. All right. Next division here. Who we got?
I
are we-
gotta go pee real quick.
All right. Take a break.
All right, let's get to the NFC North. First team we're dealing with here, the Detroit Lions. Not a whole lot of action in free agency. They do still have $30 million in cap, so there's a lot of room to work with here. I don't really know. They really haven't done anything. Now, they haven't really lost anybody either. Not a lot of big coaching changes here. The guys they did add, Kay Mays, he's a center, 3 years, $25 million. I mean, another move around the margins. It gives them offensive line depth, probably be their starting center going into next season. And then they also brought in Larry Borum on a 1-year, $5 million contract as a right tackle and just another offensive line support and depth piece for them. They did lose Al-Qaeda Muhammad to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He did have 11 sacks last year, to his
Yeesh.
credit. That said, he signed a 1-year, $6 million contract with Tampa Bay. He's 30 years old, so obviously was not in high demand around the league, which is kind of surprising. I mean, guy had 11 sacks. I know he's 30, but only 1 year, $6 million. I think that's a little odd, but there's obviously something there. Also lost Alex Anzalone to Tampa Bay as well. Kind of the heart and soul of that defense the last 5 years. A leader in the locker room, a leader for the defensive coordinator on the defensive side of the football. So that's going to hurt maybe more in the locker room than it will on the field, but I think coordination of the defense from the middle linebacker spot will take a hit there. And then lastly, they lost Amik Robertson to Washington. Now, this guy was horrible, though. I mean, he ranked 109th out of 114 qualified
tackler,
corners on PFF. He might be a good tackler, but his coverage skills as a corner were pretty atrocious compared to the other cornerbacks in the NFL. So, I mean, there's not a lot going on here. So I just went with a straight C. I think this is a team that's ready to win right now. They still have $30 million in cap space, despite some of the big contracts they have. They also traded David Montgomery. I don't know if that's really going to hurt. I think it might just be better. You're giving Jameer Gibbs the entire workload.
Well,
'cause
Pacheco.
Jameer Gibbs is that good. They did bring in Isaiah Pacheco. We'll see what he is.
They went from Sonic and Knuckles to Sonic and Chuckles.
Sonic, yeah. But I mean, they didn't really do a whole lot. They had the money to do some. But that said, they didn't also really lose anybody except for their D end who had 11 sacks in a significantly career year. So I just went with a straight C. I would have liked to see a team like Detroit, who should be ready to win now and clearly is based off the age and talent of their players on their team. I would have liked to see them go all in more, maybe restructure contracts and make more moves in free agency.
I
agree.
think the Larry Borum thing. I would. He's right now they're starting left tackle. I would think they're going to go draft a lineman in the first round. I don't see Larry Borum being there.
They signed him for 1 year, $5 million.
Yeah, I think he's probably gonna be a swing tackle guy.
Swing guy.
He's a depth piece.
Yeah, and this team, they're at their best when their offensive line's fully humming. So I mean, maybe go get Monroe Freeling or Caden Proctor or whoever.
Monroe would be
take the
perfect
spot.
for them.
But yeah, like you said, not a lot to write home here for Detroit.
Yeah, no. I really like the Cade Mays move because, like we're saying, that's one step into building the offensive line back up. They got Penne, Rutledge, and now Mays. Who's the other guard they got? Nobody?
Christian Mahogany.
Well, I hope he's good. I don't know too much about him. But, yeah, like they definitely need to invest more into the offensive line, whether it's draft or the rest of free agency. But other than that, I mean, they should throw some more money at the defense, at least the secondary. Like, I know they had two all-pros safeties actually go down last year, which definitely hurt
They got
them.
Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. I would say, if anything, they should need to add to that defensive line with.
Just replenish the guy that got 11 sacks last year.
That's the thing, though.
I never heard his name all last year. That's insane to me.
He had 11 sacks, but I think it's more the Aiden Hutchinson effect.
Yeah.
If you remember, James Houston.
It had to
James
be.
Houston a few years ago had 10 sacks playing alongside Aiden Hutchinson too. Like that's just Aiden Hutchinson really opens.
I mean,
it up
the
for
league-
It's also we
opposite
never
side.
heard his name once last year.
The league
Like,
told you his value.
the league
on
told
a
us-
1 year, $6
The
million.
league told us
contract.
he's really not that fucking good.
Right.
So
yeah, I think him versus Chason. Chason did a similar thing. Chason got 11. So
yeah, the league will show these guys who they are.
Yeah, I just at the end, I just would have liked to see them do more. Like
Yeah.
this is a team that Dan Campbell said 2 years ago this might have been the best chance we had. We saw it the year after they lost, and then this year they didn't make the playoffs.
It's just
Like,
getting worse and worse.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like, they need to be moving pieces to the middle of the board, and they're not doing that. And so I don't really know the direction of where they're going.
yeah, I agree with you completely. I feel like that take is just going to keep aging like milk, dude. Like
No, it's going to keep aging like fine wine. The fact that he said this might have been the best chance we ever had,
Yeah.
because it probably was.
It was right.
Yeah, it was right.
Oh,
It was
I guess I
crazy
took it the
that-
wrong way. Yeah, because I'm just
Yeah.
saying that they're just going to get worse and worse.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy that the coach said that, but like he's probably right.
Dan Campbell's gonna be fired in a year or two.
Probably should be.
I'd give it 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next, let's move to the Chicago Bears. More moves here. I'm going to start with the DJ Moore trade because it's definitely on the positive side. I think this was a fleece by the Chicago Bears. I think DJ Moore would have been a cap casualty post June 1st. I mean, this guy was just out of the loop in the offense. I think there was a good chance going into next season, this guy would have been the fourth option in the pass progression behind Loveland, Burton, and Odunze, and to get a second-round pick for him, I know it's a late second-round pick. I think that's a complete steal. This guy's, I think he's over the hill. He's an extremely expensive player. Buffalo is paying the majority of this cap space, or the cap hit that DJ Moore is. So I think moving off of him for what they got, it was a fantastic move. Now,
Found the most desperate team.
yeah. After that, there's not a whole lot to be thrilled about for the Bears. They did get Kobe Bryant for 3 years, $40 million, to help out that defense. So I do really like that. The only other really relevant addition they had throughout this free agency so far is Neville Gallimore, who, as 3 Cowboy fans sitting here, we can tell you he's not good, and it's not going to help much. So, and the defense
Devin
needs
Bush.
more help.
I thought they got Devin Bush.
They did get Devin Bush.
They
Yep.
did? Spot Track is just not hitting it. All right, well, then they got Devin Bush, too, so they got some more linebacking.
To
help, so that's good.
replace Trayman.
Yeah, I mean, so it could be considered a lateral move, but I mean, so they're at least filling out their linebacker core a little bit. Now they did lose Tremaine Edmonds, they lost Kevin Byrd, they lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, they lost Jaquan Brisker, and they lost Zacchaeus at the receiver spot, who was actually kind of a critical piece for them in the receiving core throughout the season. But their defense was already not good,
And Nashawn Wright.
and they lost a lot of guys.
It's a lot of cheap players.
But it's a lot of guys who help your defense. It's margin
I know
moves,
exactly,
it's
like
depth
cheap,
moves, and it's guys that when other guys go down, these guys are the type of guys that step up. They lost a lot of them without replacing them, and they only have $1 million in cap space right
Yeah, well, you can make the case, too. Nashawn Wright was their most impactful defender last year for.
Yeah,
he had,
absolutely.
6, 7 picks? Like, I mean,
Agreed. No, so I went with a C plus. Like, I really think that's carried by the DJ Moore trade. Like, I'm really not impressed with almost anything they did in free agency, and I think they lost a lot more than they gained.
Yeah, I think they lost some real guys on that defense, specifically the secondary. And Devin Bush, Tremaine Edmonds, it's kind of a lateral move in my mind. Neville Gallimore to a D-line that wasn't that good. This defense, I think this team as a whole, the offense is awesome, but this defense, I think, has a long way to go until we could put them back in a tier of being elite like they were with the Eberflus.
Yeah,
and they're not helping right now with these moves.
Oh, sorry. I gotta sneeze. It's just sitting. It's in the waiting
Let
room.
it out.
It's in the waiting room.
Don't hurt your brain cells.
No. I mean, the Jets got Nahshon Wright for $3.5 million. How are the Bears not able to at least give him $5 million? You know what I mean? Like, they don't
have the cap.
I mean, you could restructure a couple guys like Thune.
You could have not signed Neville Gallimore.
Exactly, and I mean, you still have and it's like we're saying about Jaden Daniels. You got this quarterback on a rookie contract. Now's the time to go in and really invest in some pieces around him. And their defense, just to me, in my opinion, is so depleted. They lost freaking Jaquan Brisker too. Like they lost their whole damn secondary. Man.
Well, unlike Detroit, Chicago doesn't have any cap, so they really can't. Like,
what is all their cap being spent?
I was just about to ask, who are they paying?
Yeah, that's what
Like,
I'm
I know
wondering.
they're paying the O-line.
Montez Sweat's getting paid.
Jalen Johnson.
Cole Kmet, who we actually said they should cut, he's getting, I think, 10.
They should have cut him.
Wait, who's their biggest cap casualty though? Is it Sweat?
They also traded for
Sweat.
Garrett Bradbury to replace Drew Dahlman. So
Yeah.
I like that move. But I mean, if it's going to make that much of an impact on the cap, I really don't like it. Just go sign Cade Mays for 10 a year.
yeah, I mean, Montez Sweat 25, Jalen Johnson 24, Joe Thuney 21, Dio Adingimbo 20, Jonah Jackson 20, Grady Jarrett 20, Kyler Gordon 13, Cole Kmet 12. So a lot of guys like in that 15 to 20 range for him.
Wait, who was that third guy?
Joe Thuney,
Fourth.
Dio Adingimbo.
What position does he even play?
Defensive tackle. I don't think he was very good for him.
I just think for me, like, the other big thing with them is what was the problem last year? It was their defense.
Yeah.
And I think they lost a lot more on the defensive side of the football than they gained, and so they didn't really remedy anything of their defensive issues, and in fact just lost more.
Yeah.
And then their offensive line just downgraded with Thuney getting older and then going from Dahlman to Bradbury.
Yeah.
And that was
I mean, the
big strength for
Dahlman
them.
thing, there's not much you can do about that. The guy just unexpectedly
No, of
retired.
course.
Like, it just sucks for them.
Do they still
but
have
it is
to
a
pay
loss.
that contract?
No idea.
No, I don't
They
think
better
so.
not. That would
No.
be so screwed.
I think they have a choice.
Yeah. All
They
right, who's next,
shouldn't.
dude?
Next is Green Bay. This is kind of similar to the Bears. Didn't add a whole lot and lost quite a bit. Another monster move that happened that I think's flown a little bit under the radar because he went to Miami. They lost their defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley. And Jeff Hafley, it was a fantastic defensive coordinator for them. So you're going to have a learning curve there. You're going to be bringing in a new defensive coordinator. It's probably not as good and probably teaching somewhat of a different scheme to the defense that's already in place. You also had the Rashawn Gary trade, so you're losing another edge rusher there, the guy you had opposite Micah Parsons. Their additions in free agency have been very slim. They added Javon Hargrave, nice player. I mean, he's a little bit over the hump. His best years are probably behind him. But you got him for a decent deal, 2 years, $23 million. Like, no reason to bash on that. Like, he's a fine player. It's a fine contract. The only other really relatively notable move is Benjamin St. Juste, 2 years, $10 million. And I think the bulk of what we need to talk about with Green Bay is their losses. They lost Elkin Jenkins. They lost Malik Willis. Obviously, he was not really relevant to the success of their team long term, but like I would have liked, it would have been nice if you could have traded him or got something for him.
Get a comp pick for him.
Yeah, they'll get a comp pick for him. You lost Romeo Dobbs. I'm not really too bummed about that. This was already a crowded
They got a lot of Dobbs.
Yeah, you got a lot of wide receivers that need to eat, so like I'm not too worried about that, but still makes an impact. I think you can make a case he was the most reliable receiver throughout the year, the guy that Jordan Love looked to most of the time on third downs and in clutch situations. He was the guy he relied upon the most. And then you lost Quay Walker and Rasheed Walker. I mean, these were two of your better players last season, and you did really nothing to replace them. So I think you combine those moves with the loss of your defensive coordinator and the loss of another one of your best defenders and your opposite pass rusher to Micah, in Rashawn Gary, I went with a D+ for Green Bay. I think this is a team.
I don't like it.
And
Hey, new GM too. I hate it.
The other thing is they have $28 million in cap space. It's not like they're cap strapped like the Bears. It's similar to the Lions, actually.
Hey, also, their cap space is only going to get more depleted as they go on because guess what? You're paying Micah Parsons $47 million a fucking year.
Well, yeah. I mean, that
Like, they're
contract's
not,
absurd.
Yeah, they're
Mike is
they-
awesome, but it's absurd.
No, him and Jordan Love alone, like they really have to be careful on who they sign because the cap only gets, it gets bigger till it busts.
The
right?
problem is with this defense was very equipped last year with Quay Walker and Rashawn Gary and these guys, and they had Micah to come in and be the closer, the pass rushing home run guy. Now all of a sudden it kind of looks more like Dallas with Micah, where it's all on Micah's shoulders now when he's hurt, but when he does come back, the defense is still going to be good. I don't think this defense is going to be elite though. They lost too much.
That's two
on the side of the ball.
two solid
They also
first-round players.
they also lost two good offensive linemen. Rasheed Walker got signed for a cheap deal. He was the best tackle in all of free agency. So these guys don't go growing on trees like that. I agree with you. I think they significantly downgraded based off these first wave of free agency.
It's not only that. It's two guys they took in the first round in very recent years, and they're just letting them walk for nothing. You should be able to get at least something for those players like Dallas did with Micah.
I didn't even mention this, but they also lost Emmanuel Wilson, and as a guy who had Josh Jacobs on his fantasy team last year, I watched basically every Packers game. Josh Jacobs is deteriorating. Josh Jacobs is not the running back he used to be, and as each year goes by, that decrease only gets more severe. They now don't even have a backup for him. He is going to just be the third down guy. I don't even think he eclipsed 4 yards of carry last year. And this Matt LaFleur offense is predicated on the running game, that they don't have a spell guy for Jacobs who's not as good as he used to be. There's a lot of holes that are growing on this team.
Missing their lead guard too.
Exactly. And they didn't even have to lose Jenkins. They just cut him.
I would.
Yeah, I mean Jenkins has been hurt though. I mean he hasn't been.
He's still a good player
when he's healthy. He's getting older though. But I mean, this just feels like a team that last year, 2 years ago, was set up with a lot of really good young talent. Now they're a team that's married to two players, Love and Micah.
They were the youngest team in the NFL last year.
And this thing, when you're paying a defensive end that money and your quarterback obviously top money, it's going to be hard to build the roster out, and that's what we're seeing happen in real time right now with Green Bay. So
yeah,
and also they don't even have money invested at wide receiver or tackle or I mean they do have edge, but those are two important. They just haven't invested at those two spots and Xavier.
Yeah,
McKinney.
they kind of feel like they're becoming the Cowboys.
Yeah, I would say I don't even think this is a bold prediction, but 2028, 2 years from now, their GM's gone. This guy's
going to be fired by the town.
Yeah, he's gone.
Fired by the people.
Yeah, he's gone.
People fire.
I'm telling you, he's gone.
The city's going to fire him.
Yeah, they're also trying to give new naming rights to their stadium, their bar street, and everything, just so they can get more money. Because I think their GM is so ass. That's probably a big reason.
He's good at drafting, except receivers. Can't really draft receivers.
Who's he? No, they literally got him last offseason.
Gutekunst isn't still there?
No, wait, hang on. I swear they got a new GM.
Who's the
last one's Minnesota. Minnesota, again, they barely did anything. Now, they don't have a lot of cap space. They only have $6 million in cap. The biggest move and the headlining move of their offseason has been the addition of Kyler Murray. They got him for $1 million on a one-year contract. I love this move for them. I don't see really any downside to this. I think they know that nothing is going forward with J.J. McCarthy and that you might as well take the shot with Kyler Murray because let's say Kyler Murray has a Sam Darnold year or a Daniel Jones type of year. You're still not going to be paying him $50 million next season. You can get him on the tag. You can get him for $30, $35, maybe $40 million at his peak. So I love the move for them, getting Kyler. The other really only notable addition they had is James Pierce, 2 years, $9 million. Their losses, they lost two interior defenders on their defensive line. These are the clear-cut big losses they had. They lost Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen at the D-tackle spots.
Don't like that.
They have a glaring hole at D-tackle, but this draft class is rich with interior defensive lineman talent. I would be shocked if Minnesota at 18 doesn't take a defensive tackle. I think there's going to be plenty for them sitting there, and this is a great prospect class for that position. So I think that was their reasoning. I'm assuming that's their reasoning in letting these guys walk is that we can go get a guy to replace that spot in the draft. The only other notable,
praying for Peter Woods, man.
No, I mean, but honestly, like that is
No,
one,
there is,
that
like,
is
I like
one of
Levi
the
a lot,
main
yeah.
positional values of this class is defensive tackle.
You want to hear something funny? So they run a 3-4. You want to hear who their starting 3 is up front?
Yeah.
Levi, Drake Rodriguez, Jalen Redmond, and Tyron Ingram Dawkins.
What about
That's
Greenlaw?
horrible.
He's on the 4 side, but they're 3 down linemen. Those are the 3. They're
I really think that 2 of their first 3 picks and definitely that 18th pick are going to that.
But their linebacking corps is low. They got Grenard, Dallas Turner, Blake Casher, and Eric Will. They're loaded there, but they need some beef up front though. For sure.
But I
Dallas
really
Turner's a
I
stud,
think
yeah.
that's going to be the main focal point in the draft. The only other notable loss they had was Jalen Naylor, who signed a 3-year, $36 million contract.
You let him walk.
with the Raiders. I think that's a great move to let him walk. I mean, he was your number 3 anyway. You've got Justin
crazy.
Jefferson and Jordan Addison. There's no reason to match that contract and sign your clear cut 3rd wide receiver to that contract. So I love actually letting him move. But you've got a massive hole at D tackle, and they've got to fix that. I'm assuming they're going to do that in the draft. So I gave them a B. I really like the Kyler signing, and I think if they can address their defensive line in the draft, I think they've had a fine offseason given the cap space they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy they haven't signed one defensive tackle. Like,
It is odd.
You'd think that. Yeah.
I really think that
let's
they're
go get Neville Gallimore.
I think
I think they're going to hammer the draft.
Yeah, I really think it's interesting too. Like if hypothetically, if Kyler does what Sam does, are they now going to pay Kyler, or are they going to let him walk
think
like they
they
did
will.
Sam?
They're not going to make the same mistake twice.
But also too, like if you do sign him, that could end up being the wrong mistake still as well.
It could.
So I think that'll obviously be their biggest question of the season. To see
Honestly,
how that
I think
unfolds.
Kyler's gonna suck there.
I think he's gonna be good.
I think it's going to be great.
But
I still have faith in. I have faith in Kyler, the talent,
in-
not as the leader and probably Super Bowl winning potential quarterback, but in the talent, I still have faith.
I think they're gonna get. I think O'Connell's gonna get fed up with him trying to teach him a new system. And also, my thing too is going into the draft. It's like, all right, hey, they're taking defensive tackle. You see those Minnesota, the guys in the Viking guys, they're taking D tackle. If we want Peter Woods, just trade up right in front of them because they're taking him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's a good move. I think you need to fill the spot at least somewhat, so teams aren't just jumping in front of you to take your guy. Like, I think that's just an idiotic move.
all right, last division here. We got the NFC South. We're gonna start off with the winners, the Carolina Panthers. I'm giving Carolina an A-. So biggest move, obviously, most notably, Jalen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million. This is honestly a ton of money for a guy's highest sack total is 8.5, but this guy's still only 26. He provides a lot of value in the run as well, and I think he still obviously has some untapped pass rush upside ability. But it's kind of a big signing. But this team's ready to win right now. It's a crappy division. Easiest division football to win in.
Crappy.
They're loading up the front 7. And then maybe my favorite signing, Devin Lloyd, 3 years, $45 million. Teams were concerned about this guy's consistency, if he could maintain it. Bottom line, this guy was one of the best linebackers in football last year and a legit playmaker. They got him for 3 years, $45. That's an A+ signing. And Rasheed Walker, they got 1 year, $10 million. Rasheed Walker, in a lot of people's eyes, was the best tackle in this free agency class with Akeem Okonkwo, torn patellar tendon. He may not play the start of the year. He may not play a lot of the year. You get this guy in to take his spot, or worst case, be a swing tackle for you on a 1 year, shoe-in. You got no risk attached to it as well.
Great
Rasheed
signing.
Walker was rated 85th percentile among tackles and pass block win rate last year. He's not as great in the run, but 1 year, $10 million for arguably the best tackle in free agency at a potential spot of need to replace your left tackle who's hurt right now, and worst case swing tackle. Love that signing. They also got John Mechie as a depth piece. They got Luke Fortnor to replace Cade Mays. They lost Cade Mays, Ashawn Robinson, and Austin Corbett. So they didn't really lose a ton. They added to a defense that was pretty decent last year. Now they have a nasty front 7 that I don't think any team wants to go against with Derek Brown, Jalen Phillips, Devin Lloyd. I mean, this front 7 is now legit, and they're ready to win right now with Bryce Young, as they already were ready. But they had the cap to spend it. I think this Carolina, if you're going to pay a Jalen Phillips, they're the perfect team to go pay a Jalen Phillips for. So take the flyer, go in with Bryce Young. I love what this team's done. It's not an A+ or an A for me because I don't love the Phillips signing, but Devin Lloyd, Rasheed Walker, 2 of the best out there in this whole free agency class. So that warrants an A- in my mind. And they didn't lose much either. So
They did what I said the Cowboys should do, get those 2 guys.
Yeah.
No, but I love it, dude. Like, I mean, this is a team that was, they're in a shitty division. They have a couple stud players here and there, but they need some more star power, and that's exactly what they did. They did. They got 2 star players on defense, and I think they're going to be huge for them. And then they got another tackle to solidify the O-line. I mean, I really, really like what they did a lot this year, and especially like rookie quarterback contract last year of it, and you're in the shittiest division in football. Go all in. Like, I love it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have any issues. Like, I mean, I think like most people, the Jalen Phillips signing is eye-popping. For the money they gave up. But like you said, I love the Devin Lloyd. I love the Rasheed Walker signings. And it's like, yes, did you overpay for Jalen Phillips? Absolutely. Do you have the cap, though, to probably do it and get away with it if it doesn't work out? Probably.
And this is the perfect team to sign him.
Yeah, I mean, like
you still got Bryce Young a rookie deal. You won your division, worst division of football. This is the team that should sign him if there is a team.
And we agreed. And then they got Devin Lloyd for cheap. We thought,
Yeah, I mean, Devin Lloyd was in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation for the first half
one
year.
of the best linebackers in football.
6 interceptions, 5 interceptions.
He got the same contract as Kenneth Walker.
I don't know how anyone doesn't say that's not an A+ signing.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic signing. And the Rasheed Walker signing, like you said, is a fantastic signing. So, like you said, they didn't lose anybody. They didn't really hamstring their cap space moving forward outside of the Jalen Phillips deal. There's still flexibility moving forward, but it's a big number for a guy who's never really shown he can even be I don't want to say above average pass rusher, but the guy's only ever had 8 sacks in his career at his high. So, like, yes, it's a monster contract for a guy who's pretty unproven. But you know what? You're the Panthers. You're in a bad division, like we've said. You might as well go for it, and especially combined with these other signings, I don't really have a problem.
Yeah,
he's also a lot of
for the record,
injuries.
my grade on this is led by Lloyd and Walker.
Yeah,
like those are the value is too good to pass up, and but. All right, next team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm giving them a C-. So they re-signed Cade Otton, 3 years, $30 million. They brought in Alex Anzalone, 2 years, $17 million. Brought in Ashawn Robinson, 1 year, $10 million. Brought in Kenny Gainwell, 2 years, $14 million. And they brought in Al-Quaidin Muhammad, 1 year, $6 million. How we mentioned this guy had 11 sacks with Detroit last year. Now they lost Levante David potentially, said he might retire. Logan Hall, Jamal Dean, Rashad White, Hassan Reddick, who didn't do much for him, Mike Evans, and Greg Gaines. So they went out. They replaced Greg Gaines and Logan Hall with with Ashawn Robinson and Al-Quaidin Muhammad. I think that's kind of a lateral move. I don't really see that move doing much for me. Alex Anzalone to replace Levante David again, another lateral move in my mind. They lost Jamal Dean, who was a good secondary player for him. Reddick was a complete bust for him. And they also lost Mike Evans, who was kind of like the heart and soul, the culture, the Buccaneer. And honestly, Kenneth Gainwell was a fine player, but when I see Rashad White go for $2 million and then you're paying Kenneth $7 million, I don't really know how much I love that signing. I'd rather have Rashad White on a 1 year, $5 million cheaper deal than Kenneth Gainwell. I don't know. It just feels like an offseason. You didn't get any better. You got a little bit worse in my mind. This team didn't have a ton of cap anyways. This team's kind of just stuck right in the middle. There's not much to really write home. They made some moves around the margin. They did what they did, but I think they got a little bit worse. So it's a C-.
Remind me of the Cowboys a little bit. I like the Anzalone signing. I think they could give it, if they do the draft right, I think they could be looking solid for next year. But yeah, I mean, you're kind of just running it back with the same squad.
Yeah, you're pretty much running this damn thing back.
And that team, like, besides Bucky Irving injury, I guess their offense was pretty depleted last year.
Yeah, it was hurt. The offense, I think, could get back and be fine, but their defense stinks. Their defense is not any good.
They really need to be able to put pressure on the quarterback, and
like we said,
their front seven is so weak.
Al-Quaidin Muhammad, we like we said, his 11 sacks last year was probably a fluke. Maybe the guy proves us wrong and he replicates this. But outside of Villa and Antoine Winfield, this defense doesn't have much star power on it. Even not like a lot of good Youngtown either. So, but
and also like Todd Bowles has to be the most boring coach in the whole way. Like I would not want him as my head coach. It's just like what he had Brady carry him to a Super Bowl, and aside from that, he just hasn't done really anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brady carried him to a Super Bowl as a D coordinator.
All right, well, third team up here, Atlanta Falcons. I'm giving Atlanta a C. So obviously Atlanta's big signing. They got Tua on a 1-year cheap deal. They got Jahan Dotson, 2 years, $15 million, and they made a bunch of other small signings. They lost David Onyemata, Caden Ellis, a starting linebacker, Elijah Wilkinson, and Tyler Algier. Again, this team didn't do much. Obviously, this is highlighted by Tua. I don't see it with Tua, and ATL maybe puts up some numbers for him, but the problem is even if Tua does put up some numbers that compete for the division, the guy's going to want a contract after. So, I mean, again, this just feels like another team that's just kind of treading water, another lateral move. You bring in another lefty who's hurt all the time. You lose your backup running back, you lose your starting linebacker.
Perfect mirror.
I don't know what Jahan Dodson's done to deserve 2 years, $15 million. That kind of felt like a desperation signing after they lost Darnell Mooney. Don't really love their offseason. Don't really hate it. I think it just fits right in the middle.
I agree. I mean, like I think you can get excited for the Tua signing. You can have some hope that he gets back to what he was when he was in his prime in Miami. But there's nothing that they did that would give me hope that this team can win a playoff game next year.
No.
Like and the James Pierce situation.
They lost him.
Which I think is probably the biggest actual impactful storyline of this offseason. He was probably, he's arguably the best defender they had last year. He might not even play football for the next year, and who knows how long after that.
He may never play football again.
Your first pick in this draft is I think 48 or 47. So like you're not even going to be able to take one of the top 45 players in this class. This is a team that just kind of feels like they've lost their way, and they're hoping that Tua can figure it out or Penix can figure it out. And like you said, I don't really have faith in either of them. And the only other moves that really happened here were just losses around the margins on a team that already wasn't very good. So I'm fine with the grade. I just don't think there's a lot to get excited about.
Yeah, they're a team I feel like when we talk about this next year, we're going to be talking about a full reboot is just how I feel about
Probably.
them. So,
God, if they were doing that, what do you think they'd get for Bijan in London? Or do you think they'd keep both of them?
I don't know. They're going nowhere anytime soon.
I agree.
All right, last team on the division here, the most exciting team in my mind, the New Orleans Saints. I'm giving the Saints an A-. So New Orleans went out. They had a David Edwards, one of the best guards in free agency, 4 years, $61 million. Travis Etienne, one of the best backs, 4 years, $52 million. Caden Ellis, linebacker, 3 years, $33 million. Noah Fant, 2 for 9. They lost Alante Taylor, Demario Davis, and Luke Fortnor. So this team, New Orleans has some real excitement on offense. Now, you add one of the best guards on an already improving, young, fun offensive line. You get a back in there that's going to be worlds better than Alvin Kamara. We know Kellen Moore likes his running backs. He wants to run the football. And this offense, man, has some real firepower. They go and draft the Cardinal Tate, Jordan Tyson in the first round. You're looking at offense with Tyler Shuck, if he takes the next step, Etienne at a really good, improving young line and some good weapons in the receiver position. There's a good chance this is the best offense in this division next year, and I really like they're kind of showing their hand what they want to do. This team wants to establish the line of scrimmage. They want to run the football. They want to give Tyler Shuck some help. And I like that, unlike these other teams, I see a direction with the Saints offseason moves. I see what they want to establish. I see what they want to go for. And that's what they did. They did lose Demario Davis, who was their captain on defense. Caden Ellis, though, is a fine replacement at inside linebacker. Alante Taylor had ups and downs. He has a lot of talent, but he got burned a lot at times for the Saints. This team definitely needs some real help on defense.
Yeah.
But this is a team last year we were talking about as a reboot, retool, dumpster fire. For the 1 year transformation and where they are now, and with the offense looking like it could be really fun, I really like what they've done so far. I think these are all really good moves. And again, just for the Saints, just get the fans back in it, man. I think Saints fans are probably feeling really good about where this team was versus where they were a year ago.
Oh, yeah. These moves were to satisfy Kellen Moore and his offensive, what do you want to call him?
Prowess.
I was thinking more of a sexual word, but that works. No, Kellen Moore loves to have a really creative offense, and he needs a good running back to do that, and then probably a good wide receiver too as well. And tight end doesn't hurt. So
yeah, and Alvin Kamara was one of the worst running backs in the NFL last year.
Yeah, so I think Etienne is huge. The O-line's huge. I like everything about Shuck except his age. It just sucks that you're getting a 25-year-old QB on a 4-year contract, not even a first-round pick. That's one thing that I really don't like about their team, but that's nothing to do with this offseason. But
I just love this because you're giving Tyler Shuck a real chance to be the guy. And with the Edwards and Etienne
Yeah.
signing, you're giving him a legitimate chance. If he's the guy, you say, okay, we're going to put pieces around you. You have Kellen Moore, one of the best offensive minds in the league. You can go out and get it now. We're probably going to draft a receiver in the first round too.
It's
so
just,
they have an identity. They for the first like Atlanta doesn't have an identity. I don't even know what the Bucs' identity is.
Yeah.
New Orleans, they're establishing an identity in a direction moving forward, which I can appreciate.
My thing is, it just takes like a couple years to build an identity, and like by that point,
I'm not saying they've built it.
up.
I'm saying they're building one. They're
No,
actively
of course.
building an identity.
I just it's just so tricky, and we'll see how it turns out if they actually build a really good, competent roster. They need a defense badly. They need a D-line, everything. But because I'll keep reverting back to the Shuck contract, because when it's up, he's gonna be 29, 28.
Yeah, but you got to work with what you got.
But it's also like
you've
when
got 3 more years of a rookie contract.
And really,
it's a lot of time.
This offense on paper is one receiver away. If Tyler Shuck is able to take another step and then get another receiver, this is a real offense.
Yeah, but the defense is.
I think it already is a real
8
offense.
guys away.
No, the defense is bad, but you can't. This team was so bad for a while now. You can't obviously rebuild it in 1 year. But I love where they're going with this.
No, I agree. I mean, like, we were going into last season.
It was the worst team in football.
Are the Saints the worst team in football, or are they going to go 0-17? Like, they were a pleasant surprise last year. Shuck was awesome when he played. Chris Olave had a complete bounce back. And now you go into the draft with these moves. You solidified key spots on your team that you had holes. They can kind of go in with best player available, not because they're loaded, because they've got a lot of holes all over the place and they don't still have a ton of talent. But you can go in now at any level on the defense and say, Sonny Styles falls to me. We're taking him. Caleb Downs is there. We're taking him. If we want to go get a receiver, we can take him. They can do exactly how the board falls and do exactly what they want in this draft because of the position they put themselves in. Like you said, they didn't really lose a whole lot. And honestly, the Saints, to me, are my number one contender from going worst to first in the division this year. I think they have a better chance than the Lions, because mainly the division, because I really believe in what Kellen Moore and Tyler Shuck are doing there. Like, I think this is going to be a competent team that's going to be competitive in a lot of their games they're in, and it's going to be a high-scoring offense. I don't even know if they need a number 2 receiver. I mean, it's obviously going to help, but I would really like to see them go defense with their first pick. I think you can get a receiver in the second or third rounds. Olave is a fantastic receiver. Etienne's a great running back. Shuck looks great. And with a guy like Kellen Moore calling plays, like, the offense is going to be just fine. I really think their need is on defense, and if they do that in the draft, I think they've had a fantastic offense.
Yeah. I think it's draft receiver defense. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
Pick receiver and go all defense.
Defense.
They're number 2 receivers, Devon Vliet. Like, they definitely need a number 2 receiver.
I traded a 4th-round pick for him.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to. They needed to.
No, but they just.
This is a Sean Payton fucking knuckle jab.
They could have a fun offense all day, but if they want to win the division, they need defenders.
They do, but
they didn't even re-sign Cam Jordan.
But the whole point is, like,
which they should.
From where this team was so far away, and it was never an overnight rebuild for. But, like, to say one side of the ball, the offensive side, the more important side, looks pretty damn good now, like, I think is miraculous compared to where they were a year ago.
Yeah, but it's also like, all right, you don't build the defense. All right, going into the next season, Shuck will be 27, and you're just now building the defense.
Yeah, but that's what it was so far away no matter how you split it. Like, there was no world where the defense was going to improve. So at least, like, you're unlike some of these other young QBs, you're giving Shuck a legitimate chance. And hey, if Shuck doesn't pan out, you could at least look back and say, okay, we put guys around him to give him a chance to succeed, and we actually saw it through, so we don't have another Sam Darnold or Geno Smith situation on our hands where, maybe this guy pops with another team, because we're going to actually give him
what you're going to get.
Yeah, we're going to give him the guns to actually go after this and go swing.
Are you saying, like, a shot as in, like, a good offense or a good team, like a competitive team?
A good offense. Because if Shuck doesn't...
He's like the same age as Sam Darnold.
No, I know. But I'm saying, if they didn't add on the offense, and, there's a world to where if the offense didn't have the talent around and then Shuck leaves, maybe he go pop somewhere else, like Sam did with the Jets. There's nothing around him. At least with these moves, we're saying, Shuck, okay, we'll get you the O-line, we'll get you the running back, maybe add another receiver. We'll know if you're the guy after this year or not. And also because you're 26. Like, we'll know.
With that, I could get behind the receiver on the first. It's just so hard for me with the quarterback already being 26.
Yeah, but
I think you're focusing a little too much.
I think I probably
compared
am
to
too.
his contract. Like, not only does he have 3 years on a rookie contract, he's a second-round pick. They're
Yeah.
paying him nothing. He's not a first overall pick that they're still paying him $10 million. What are they probably paying? 3? Like
Nothing,
he's
yeah.
basically free
I-
for the next 3 seasons.
I'm
there's
thinking-
a lot of runway here, and Cole, like
Yeah.
you said, there is a clear plan here.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're doing, and they're orchestrating their plan so far. That is all you can ask for with a team that has as many holes as the Saints have.
Mm-hmm.
They did what they needed to do in the offseason to plug 3 of them. They're going to do what they need to do in the draft. And this is going to keep progressing forward in a division where no one else really has a plan. You could say the Panthers have a plan, but they're paying.
They do.
They're a year away from having a really tough decision on Bryce Young. And that's going to be paying Bryce Young, who's probably not a great quarterback, $50 million, or letting him walk and having nothing at the quarterback spot. Like, the Saints are the best positioned team in this division going forward. And their plan is just following those steps to put themselves in that place this season and beyond. I love what they're doing.
I'm just thinking like almost like 2 books ahead. You know, I'm like, if I want to build like a dynasty, I need a quarterback to be like 25 when we're
But
winning the first Super
you
Bowl,
got to play the hand.
yeah.
You got to
So,
play the hand you're dealt.
yeah,
and
of
you
course.
got you got an older guy in the
I'm
second
just,
round.
I'm just
You showed a
explaining
lot of
myself.
promise.
I'm just
Yeah,
explaining
so-
myself.
Because I mean, every team's not every team's gonna get him a Mahomes or an Allen. You know, so you got for these teams, you got to play the hand you're dealt.
Well, even when you Dak, you know, you got to plan for everything. I mean, you get lucky, but it's just a very unorthodox situation having a 25-year-old rookie QB.
Yeah, I mean, I would just look into the play you saw. I would just try to focus on that more than his current age. But all right,
No, he was solid.
do we got any other free agency talks here? Are we good on that?
I think we're all good.
I think we're good.
All right, we're back from break. We have continued dream off seasons post the first wave of free agency. I got the Panthers up first. So the Panthers so far in free agency have obviously added Jalen Phillips, Devin Lloyd, Rasheed Walker to highlight. For them to kill the rest of the offseason in the draft, I'd like to see them go add a Keenan Allen on a 1-year, $7 million contract. They still have 14 to play with. I think he'd be a perfect veteran receiver to pair in there with a Jalen Coker and Ted McMillan. You know, give Bryce Young another weapon and also help these young receivers develop even more. And then we get to the draft. So at pick 19, I think Caleb Banks would be a perfect shoo-in for them. They're running a 3-4. You could plug Caleb Banks right on the inside, pair him with Derek Brown, Jalen Phillips, Devin Lloyd. If you get a Caleb Banks in there, this front seven might be one of the best in the NFL. This would be a nasty front seven.
Caleb Banks is going to be out for the whole year. He broke his foot for the 3rd time. He might go in the 3rd round.
Well,
yeah, he's dropping very quickly.
Well, he broke his foot?
Yeah.
For the 3rd time.
All right, well, we're
foot.
going to switch our pick then. So at pick 19, we're going to go with Peter Woods. For the 3-4, you plug him in with Derek Brown, Jalen Phillips, Devin Lloyd. All of a sudden, this front seven would be nasty. Peter Woods is going to be a badass run stuffer immediately. He has moves to develop into an elite pass rusher if it all hits. His 2024 tape was crazy. If he can regain that talent, and you know we've seen it happen, their front seven is going to be one of the best in football. At pick 51, in my mock, it had Eli Stowers falling to him at 51. This guy's clearly the second best tight end in the draft. Some might say he's an even better receiving threat than a Kenyon Sadiq. You had him at pick 51 to pair with Keenan Allen, your young receivers. All of a sudden, Bryce Young gets even more weapons, even more hype. And then at pick 83, I have them taking Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas. You need someone to replace Rico Dowdle. This offense is going to run through the running game. You get maybe the most physically talented running back in this draft. I think if you've already killed it so far, if you can go out of Keenan Allen and then that D lineman, tight end, running back, the Panthers look even way better than they were last year. This was a team that's still in the division last year. You get Bryce Young, some more help on the offensive side, and then you go all in on this front seven. And the secondary is going to get better with this front seven that'll be able to stop the run. I think if the Panthers could knock off those few things left, I think they've already killed it at this point, but they could do even more. I think that would be an A-plus offseason if they could do these last few moves here for them.
I agree.
Love it.
All right, I got the Bucks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So they've added Gainwell from Pittsburgh, A'Shawn Robinson from Carolina, the former, Anzalone from Detroit, as well as Al-Quadin Muhammad from Detroit, the 11 sacker. And then they retained Cade Otton. They lost Mike Evans, Jamel Dean, Rashad White, and Logan Hall. He went to Houston. The other guys, Dean went to Pitt, Rashad White went to Washington, Evans, San Fran. The rest of my offseason for them, I have them signing Joey Bosa. They really, really need an edge player. Their front seven is very depleted at the moment. Joey Bosa would be another veteran presence on that D-line. The rest of their team is pretty aged out. They don't have a ton of young players, so he'd fit right in there. Just hope he stays healthy. And then re-sign Levante David. You wanted to go out and get a good linebacker. Most of them are gone now. You got Anzalone. Huh?
They got Caden Ellis.
The Bucks?
Oh, no, my bad.
Yeah, so go re-sign Levante David. Pair him with Alex Anzalone that you got. I think that's a good linebacker duo, at least for 1 year. Maybe draft David's replacement in the draft at some point. We'll get to that. And then I also have them signing Von Miller. Just get 2 veterans off the edge. This is like a team to me that reminds you of the Cowboys a couple years back when Dak was a little bit younger. Like, just go all in. Like, if you have the cap space and you can get guys on 1-year contracts, do it. Like, it doesn't hurt your team for the future or anything. It only lets you compete for this year. And I know these guys are going to want more than 1 year, but you just outbid them. Just sign them a 1-year contract, like $12, $14 million. You should be able to get them. And then so we go into the draft. I have them taking Olivega Ioane. I don't know how to say that exactly. The guard from Penn State. He slots right in at either guard spot. Helps solidify the O-line. At that point, they literally have 4 young, like stouted offensive linemen, 3 of them first-round picks. One of them, Godecki, just got a huge extension, like perfect for Baker or whatever quarterback you want to come and up precedent him later on. Second round, 46th pick, I have them taking Jacob Rodriguez, Texas Tech. This is my dream offseason, okay? So he made it to 46, okay? He would fit in perfect. Like I said, Levante David's there 1 more year. Let him mentor him there. Get the hell out of there next year, Levante. It's Jacob Rodriguez's building. Let him take over. And then in the 3rd round, Eli Stowers, tight end.
There
you go.
Yeah, just another weapon to have on offense. He filled me at 77 in this one. I couldn't not take him. It's just K. Daughton's fine, but if you can add a weapon like this, a guy that he can honestly light up in a receiver position every couple plays a game, take him. Just make your offense more dynamic. Have fun with it. I know Todd Bowles doesn't really like to do that, but yeah, he's old school and he'll be gone soon.
Jacob Rodriguez is a Baker kind of guy.
Right?
That'd be a great pairing.
They could have the like matching mustaches.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
All right, let's go to the Falcons. Not a lot of notable moves that they made in addition to the team they had. Obviously got Tua. That's the big one. On a $1 million contract to compete with Penix for the QB1 spot. They also brought in Austin Hooper as their tight end, too, behind
good
Kyle
for them.
Pitts. It's not bad. The big issue, honestly, I think, is you have the James Pierce situation just kind of overhanging as a big dark cloud over this entire offseason. You traded up, you gave up a first-round pick to go get this guy, and now you don't even know if he's going to play football again for you, at least in the next year. That is in serious question right now. And because of that, your first pick is the 48th pick in this draft. Right now, they have $22 million in cap space. So you don't have a ton to work with, and you still got a lot of holes. With that money, I used 5 of it. I did a 1-year, $5 million contract to get Kareem Hunt. I think we've seen this 2-headed running game with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier be really effective the last few years. I don't think Kareem Hunt needs to be getting the workload that Tyler Algier was getting, but it'd be nice to have a backup running back to supplement Bijan Robinson in the rushing game. So you go get him, 1-year, $5 million contract, and then we go get 2 guys, again, at 1 year, $5 million to help out that defensive side of the ball. Dante Fowler for some edge rushing help, and Jack Jones for some cornerback help. Those are 2 specific areas of need on this defense, especially Dante Fowler with the James Pierce situation overhanging this entire team. That gets us to the draft. Like I said, they don't have a first-round pick. Their first pick's at 48. This is the dream offseason, and in the mock draft I did, Lee Hunter was sitting there for him at 48. That is an auto pick. If he's there, they have a need at the defensive tackle spot. I think he'd be an absolute steal at 48 in the second round to get Lee Hunter. That moves us down to the 3rd round. I have them taking Keontae Scott, the cornerback out of Miami. They have another glaring weakness at the cornerback spot opposite A.J. Terrell that they need to address. I think that'd be a fine pick to go get a guy who can play alongside A.J. Terrell in the secondary. And then their third pick that they have available is their 4th-round pick at 114. There I have them taking Garrett Nussmeier. You don't have an answer at quarterback. You've already got Penix and Tua. Why not add Nussmeier in there, and maybe he can end up being your franchise guy? I mean, you don't really have a direction right now. You might as well go get another young quarterback who can potentially pop and be your franchise guy when you've already got 2 guys you have serious question marks about. So that's my dream offseason for them. Not a lot of hope, but at least with this, you got a quarterback who you can kind of stake your flag to, and you go get some marginal pieces around the edges to help the team.
No, yeah, I mean, B-Red, be a Marauder. Nussmeier would fit in perfect in those colors.
I like the Nussmeier. They should draft one of these QBs with upside.
Yeah, definitely. Make it a 3-man race.
All right. The New Orleans Saints. So the Saints so far have added David Edwards, Travis Etienne, Caden Ellis. They've lost Alontae Taylor and DeMario Davis. They have $17 million left in cap. Again, I'd like to see them sign Keenan Allen. This team desperately needs some more help at the receiver room. Get a young or an old veteran receiver in there, help move the chains, help develop these younger guys on offense. I think he's just kind of a shoo-in for all of these, younger teams that need some receiver help. He's going to make a lot of sense for any of them. Now, obviously, the Saints this offseason, they've added a ton on offense. The running back room looks good. The offensive line looks good. They already got 2 good tackles in there. The defense, though, needs a lot of help. But in the draft at pick 8, we're going Carnell Tate. We're going all in on this offense. We're going to get Tyler Shuck, Chris Olave, Carnell Tate, and Keenan Allen with Travis Etienne with the good offensive line. We're going to see if Tyler Shuck's the guy or not. So we're going to go get him and pair another Ohio State receiver with our already Ohio State stud and Chris Olave. I think their style of plays would complement each other very well. Carnell Tate's a route running technician. He's good in the red zone. Chris Olave, kind of more of that burner, while he could also help out in other areas of the field, though. I just think they're a really nice tandem, and when you throw Keenan Allen in as the third slot guy to help out there with them. At pick 42, they're going to get Brandon Cisse. Again, this is a dream draft for him, but Brandon Cisse slides in this mock draft that I did. He's one of the most talented cornerbacks in this draft. He's going to replace Alontae Taylor immediately. He might even be better than Alontae Taylor immediately and could be a young cornerback to help build up this defense, which needs a lot of help. And then at pick 73, they're going to go with Romello Height. Again, this guy's got some of the best bend in this draft class. He's one of the best pure pass rushers in this draft class. And he might not be there at pick 73, but in this dream mock, the talent is just too damn good to pass up with Romello Height. Romello Height very well may be a guy that can get you 10-plus sacks in a season. And with their first 3 picks, the remaining offseason, they hammer the wide receiver room. They go add a guy who could be a potential all-pro in Brandon Cisse, and they go get a really nice, immediate, day-one ready pass rusher in Romello Height that also has room to blossom into being, a really good player for you at the NFL level. I think they're already in a really good spot with what they've done. I think if they can go address these last few spots, they'll knock it out of the park here for them in free agency in the draft.
Getting Height right there would be just an absolute heist.
Yeah.
That would be
again,
amazing.
guys.
Dream off season, I get it.
Yeah,
That'd be
a lot of these guys aren't going to be there, but this is our dream off season of guys who potentially could be there. So.
Yeah.
All right, I like it. I like it a lot. All right, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a pretty easy to sum up what they've done. Re-sign Dennis Gardeck, linebacker for them. Re-sign Monteric Brown. He was a huge piece for them. They got him for about $10 a year, 3 years. They signed Chris Rodriguez Jr., running back from the Commies, formerly known as the Redskins. And they lost Greg Newsome to the Giants, cornerback they traded Tyson Campbell for last year to the Browns. Lost Devin Lloyd, a former first-round pick of theirs, and also lost Travis Etienne, another first or A-chain. Did y'all see that video? He said my last name is pronounced A-chain. No, he literally said my last name is pronounced A-chain.
I thought we were talking about E-Team.
We are.
Wait.
I swear to God, look at his intro interview to the Saints. He says my name is actually pronounced A-chain.
Oh, I don't
yeah, it's pretty nuts. But yeah, they lost him too. 2 first-round picks, another second-round pick that they traded for a first-round pick gone. I really don't like what they've done so far with their offseason because they don't have a first-round pick after trading for Travis Hunter. So their first pick in the draft is number 56. They have a big, big deficiency at defensive tackle behind Arik Armstead. Taking my boy, Buzzsaw's guy, Lee Hunter,
Buzzsaws boy.
Tech.
This is a staple.
Yeah, no, he's a stud.
He's coming back around soon. Don't hold your breath.
He's a run stuffer. He's a vet. He can play the game. Every time he's in, the defense looks better. Fits in perfectly. Slots into their team. Second pick, 81 in the third round. I had them taking Eli Stowers, Vanderbilt tight end, just like I had the Bucks taking. But this one makes more sense because they only have Brenton Strange at tight end, and this he's solid, nothing special, but he gets hurt a lot, and I think Stowers could add another dynamic to the offense, and I think Liam Cohen could have a lot of fun with that. Next pick, they got number 88. I had them taking Harold Perkins Jr. This guy is my personal, and frickin' quote me on this, book me on this for the future, whatever, I don't care. This guy's going to be a stud. If you watched him before his injuries at LSU, and I know not everyone can come back from injuries, but this guy is an insane athlete. I believe in him. I believe in his work ethic and everything. If you watch him before his injuries at LSU, he was a monster. Like, he looked like frickin' Jalen Smith at Notre Dame. He could do everything on the field. He disrupts every play, pass or run. It doesn't matter. Again, I'm talking about Harold Perkins, I know, but this is just a flyer pick. See if he can get him, have him fill that Devin Lloyd spot. If he lives up to his potential, he is a stud. If not, then whatever. It's a number 88 pick in the third round that you traded for. And then lastly, the number 100 pick. It's actually out of the third round, the first pick in the fourth round. I have him taking Kalen Black from Indiana. Help spell what's his face?
Bouchard.
Tootin' the booty. Have him spell Tayshaun Booty. I mean, they would be a perfect combo. Black's a frickin' bruiser, can run downfield, and Booty's a speedster. So I think they'd be a perfect combo there.
Did Jacksonville do anything to replace Etienne?
Nope.
Rodriguez didn't.
Yeah, they got Chris Rodriguez. Yeah. Oh, junior. Not
Shout out
senior.
Chris Rodriguez. I was really high on that guy.
You have been. You've been high on him for a while. You've been high on him since the Bill hype.
I know.
You looked past the Bill hype
and
right into Chris Rodriguez.
They both sucked.
Yep. But at least you didn't get on the Bill hype train.
I never bought that.
Crazy
shit.
thing is too, Bill almost had 1,000 rushing yards last year.
Dude, his
He had like
PFF
he had like
grade was,
900.
Fantastic.
I know it was like early. Was his overall grade
I
was?
think so. I mean, he averaged like 6.5.
Well, that's why I was high
yards
on Chris, because Chris, like in his limited like samples, his first 2 years had like crazy advanced numbers.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not any good. But
I do love Brenton Strange. So I don't know how I feel about the Eli Stowers pick, but I do get it. I'm a big Brenton Strange fan, though. I think he's a really good player. But you're right, he does have injury problems.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and also like that's what I was saying earlier is like Stowers can play all over the offense. You know, like
Yeah. All right, next we got the Houston Texans. I loved what they did in free agency. Their two most notable moves that I fell in love with were Reed Blankenship for 3 years, $24 million. I think that's an absolute steal. You got a quality player in the secondary who's young, still has potential to grow for a really nice contract. And then you solidified one of your tackle spots in Braden Smith. You got 2 years, $20 million at the tackle position, a spot you desperately needed to fill with a really good player who's done it at a really high level in this league for a long time. So I like what they've done so far in free agency. You also cut Joe Mixon and traded for David Montgomery. I like the two-headed running game you have now in David Montgomery and Woody Marks. I think that's plenty sufficient. I don't think you really need to do anything more there. While you don't have Jahmyr Gibbs, you don't have Bijan Robinson, I think that's a fine two-headed attack in the running game, especially a team that's predicated on defense like this Texans team is. That leaves us with $31 million in cap space still left to be spent. This is a team that needs to go all in. This defense is young and cheap, and we saw what they were this past year. And I think they would have been in the Super Bowl if C.J. Stroud didn't have one of the worst games we've ever seen a quarterback have in the postseason. This team's ready to win now, and the AFC's depleted. We don't know what the Chiefs are. The Bills and Ravens are going to have new coaches next year. I don't think a lot of people believe in the Patriots. The Chargers are the Chargers. Like, this is a team ready to win now. What I did with this remaining cap space is go solely to the offensive line. This is still the glaring hole on this
Love
team.
it.
They filled the tackle spot with Braden Smith. I want more guys not only that can start for me, but will also give me additional depth throughout the season because we know this team suffers from offensive line injuries routinely. First, I went Joel Patitnio, 1 year, $13 million, a staple pick in these segments we've been doing. He's a quality guard, though. They have a glaring hole at the left guard spot. He can fill that immediately. He's been a very quality player in this league for a really long time. The next one is Lloyd Cushenberry. He's another fine guard. I mean, he's nothing special. He'd be a good depth piece for them.
He was
at
not
the guard
good.
spot.
Old Cushenberry.
He's fine. I mean, he's a depth piece. It's 1 year, $7 million. Like, there's not much left. Like, they need to go get.
No, you're right.
They need to
But
go
also
get
Juicy Scruggs.
They need to go get backup level guys that can spark.
Are you sure you want big tits if you want a healthy line? The guy's been hurt a lot.
That's why we're getting Cushenberry. That's the point. We just need depth. Like we're not going out. We're not going out and getting Tyler Linderbaum.
Big tits, Patitnio.
We're not getting Linderbaum or a top guard here. That's not what's left on the market, but we're getting depth pieces to help this line. The last one is James Daniels, another guard. I want to solidify this offensive line with as much depth as I possibly can. So all three of the remaining moves in free agency go to those guard spots to help solidify that offensive line. That now moves us to the draft. They have 3 picks in the top 60, number 28, 38, and 59. In the mock draft I did, Kenyon Sadiq was sitting there at 28. That was an auto pick for me. I think best case scenario for them, he falls. Dalton Schultz is not the answer, especially long-term at tight end. I think, they've got Tank Dell coming back. He drafted the 2 receivers last year, but really the only reliable pass catcher on this team is Nico Collins. I think adding a weapon like Kenyon Sadiq late in the first round would be ideal for them, especially because a lot of that top talent at the offensive line spot is going to go earlier in the first round. So you go solidify and get a great talent at tight end. Second round at 38, we're going back to our boy Lee Hunter. He was sitting there. They do actually have somewhat of a hole at defensive tackle. Their edges are obviously fantastic. Their linebackers are fantastic. And their secondary is fantastic. If there's anything they could actually increase in talent on their defense, it's the defensive line spot. I think Lee Hunter does that perfectly for them. And then lastly, at 59, their second pick in the second round, I have them going to take a center, Sam Hecht. To fill out that center position for them and help continue to solidify the interior of their offensive line. And just in these latest 4 moves, you've added 4 new interior offensive linemen. You can plug and play, you can spot start, and you add a ton of depth to an offensive line desperately needing it.
And you got Lee Hunter. I like that a lot.
Did you not consider a running back with one of those second-round picks?
No.
Jadarian Price, no?
I don't first.
No, I like Woody Marks too.
First,
I don't know if Woody Marks is a bell cow guy.
With Montgomery.
Oh, I forgot about
you got
Montgomery.
David Montgomery.
You're right.
Yeah,
I forgot about
and
And
they're
the thing
chilling.
is, like, I don't think there's a second round running back or I don't think there's a running back outside of Jeremiah Love that's worthy to go in the second round. And with the David Montgomery trade, I think you've got to find two-headed.
I think Jadarian Price and or Mike Washington Jr. could warrant a second-round pick.
Maybe I would probably disagree, but I think they're fine at the running back spot.
Yeah, they got money.
Yeah,
so.
I would want to take him in the third.
I think Jadarian Price will be good though. I think Mike Washington could be scary too. All right, Indianapolis Colts. This has been a nightmare offseason for the Colts. I wouldn't even know what to think if I'm a Colts fan, to be honest. So obviously they brought back Dimes, signed Alec Pierce 4 years, 114. One of the bigger overpays we've seen in quite some time. They brought in Arden Key, 2 for $20. They brought in Michael Clemens. They lost Kwity Paye, Braden Smith, Nick Cross, and Neville Gallimore. Shout out Neville Gallimore. Now, they still have $42 million in cap space remaining, and this team needs a lot of help. So the first move we're going to do with the remainder of their cap sheet, we're going to get Jawan Taylor in 1 year, $10 million to replace Braden Smith at the tackle spot. We're going to take a flyer on Trevon Diggs, $7 million. Pair him next to Sauce Gardner. Hope we could rejuvenate his career, see some more of those ball hawking abilities. Maybe he can get some turnovers, get some picks for us, because the defense needs some help.
Well,
now. We've lost
Javarius Ward, right?
I don't even know, man. But regardless, this team needs some secondary help. They need help really over on defense. We're also going to bring in Von Miller, $8 million deal. They need some pass rushing help too. With Kwity Paye gone, maybe Vaughn will take a flyer in just a 1 year deal, rotational pass rusher for us. And we're going to get Donovan Wilson at $7 million as well to replace Nick Cross, who we lost. Donovan Wilson, not a sexy pick, but a reliable, decent starting safety for us. Now that brings us to the draft for the Indianapolis Colts. And they obviously traded their 1 pick for Sauce Gardner. So We're looking at pick 47, and in this mock, again, Dream Mocks, boys, Jacob Rodriguez is falling to the Colts at pick 47. You get a linebacker, and they're going to be a day one starter, help revamp this defense, help this defense get back on track, which was actually kind of decent last year, but they've lost some dogs, so they're going to need all the help they can get on defense. At pick 78, we're going with Zachariah Branch. Obviously, you lost Michael Pittman Jr. You need some more help in that receiving room. I don't care if Alec Pierce is getting paid like a top 10 guy. He's not a top 10 guy. Josh Downs is a decent little piece, but I think you could use another weapon on that offense for sure. I like Zachariah Branch a lot. And at pick 113, we got to go in safety Bud Clark out of TCU. Again, just another guy to add to this secondary to help revamp it after losing some bodies out there. But, yeah, for Indy, it's a tough offseason. I think he could still help out this team. This team's obviously ready to win now. And in my mind, all these moves they'd be making for the duration of now to week one would all be win-now moves to help build up your ball club and give Danny Dimes the best possible chance to go out and potentially win the AFC South.
I like it.
I like it. Not a lot you can do with the offseason they've had.
Really.
They still got some cap, though. So, I mean, they should go spend it. You may as well. You're paying dimes.
They should.
All right. I got the Tennessee Titans. They have done a ton. So, first off, excuse me. Second, they got Wan'Dale Robinson, 4 years, $70 million. I really like that a lot. John Franklin Myers, 3 years, $63 million. So about 21 a year. I think that's solid. I mean, they're not paying Cam for the next 4 years. So I mean, that's good. Alontae Taylor's 3 years, $60 million. Great signing. They traded Tavondre Sweat for Jermaine Johnson. I really like that move a lot because they already have Jeffrey Simmons at D tackle. They can get more depth in free agency or the draft. Every team needs a good edge, and Jermaine Johnson's a good edge. Bob Saleh's worked with him. He got his guy. I really like that move a lot. Then they went into New York, grabbed Cordell Flott out of there, and then they also had a Joshua Williams for that cornerback room. So they've added 3 new cornerbacks. I think that's pretty huge. Along with that, they did cut L'Jarius Sneed, which who cares? He has sucked for them, and he has off-the-field problems like legal issues. I don't want him to do anything to do with my team. I want to build a good culture, not some dudes that don't care about football that are literally just causing problems off the field. Nothing I want part of. They got Mitch Trubisky, though. Okay? Y'all hearing me right? No reaction.
I'm with you.
They got Mitchell Trubisky. Mitch. Call him Mitch now.
No, Mitch, good quarterback.
He's a stud. Great backup. Whatever. Who cares? They got Daniel Bellinger for too much and Kyle Granson. I actually do like that. I know they took the Texas tight end last year in the second or third round, but I'm just really not a big believer in Gunnar Helm. I like Bellinger. I thought he was solid for the Giants. Maybe not enough, good enough for the money they paid him, but solid player. They got Solomon Thomas at the defensive line. All they did was swap a 7th-round pick. That's solid. Got a new punter, Tommy Townsend, and then they cut Lloyd Cushenberry and Xavier Worthy, as well as Shy Tuttle. I think those were all good moves. Those are 3 trash-ass players you don't want on your team. And then they restructured Calvin Ridley to give him a pay cut and keep him on the team. So they have 2 solid wide receivers with that. They have about like $35 million left in cap, but you got to reserve at least some of that for the draft. So I have them signing Jawan Jennings to a 1 or 2 year deal around the $20 million mark. Just like the other guys they signed, keep it within that range of where it's still on Cam Ward's rookie contract, where if you regret it, you think you'll regret it, you don't. And if you want to keep the guy, you extend him past Cam's rookie contract. But that just fills out the wide receiver rooms, give Cam 3 solid veterans to throw to. And then also the tight end room, which I don't know what to make of it exactly, but it's what they did. They got Daniel Bellinger and Caden Granson. That's on them. But in the draft, I have them at the 4 pick, of course. They're taking David Bailey out of Texas Tech. They need to add something else to this D-line, and that would make it dominant. You got Bailey, Jeffrey Simmons, John Franklin Myers, and then you got Jeremiah Johnson on the other edge. I think that would be a very powerful front 4. And then hopefully the 3 guys behind them can help back it up. But I think those 4 guys would be powerful and something Bob Saleh would love to have on his team. I know they could go a way of like Caleb Love or maybe Carnell Tate, but I got them filling the receiver room. And I think Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears are doing just fine. It's more about the O-line play for them. And that's why at 35, I have them taking Max Ianacre, the tackle from Arizona State. And my thing with him is he's almost perfect for Tennessee because they have J.C. Latham, who they took in the first round, who sucks. And then they have another tackle. I forget his name because it's not even worth mentioning. But they signed him into too big of a contract last year.
Dan Moore.
Thank you, brother. They got Dan Moore. And I think Ianacre would be a perfect guy to sit behind them. Maybe not even for a full year. Maybe just 6 games. But slot in there at one of the tackle slots. Hopefully left tackle. Put JC at the right. Hopefully he can succeed. And, just have Cam's O-line solidified from the edges. You already got Skoronskin on the inside. And they might re-sign what's his name, Kevin Zeltler or whatever. They might re-sign him, so that would help solidify the guard spots. So that would really help your O-line a lot. Second round, or this is third round, number 66 pick. I have them taking Eli Stowers, just like I had in my 2 other teams. Like I said, they invested a lot in the tight end room, but I just do not like it one bit. Like, I don't know. It's like they're just signing contracts blindly or something. I don't like it. Eli Stowers is a dynamic weapon to have on your team, though. Cam Ward would love to throw the ball to him. Guy's got the biggest vertical out of all the tight ends ever. So, yeah, I think Cam Ward would like throwing the ball up to him. And then at pick 101, the first pick in the 4th round, I got my boy, Harold Perkins, to fill out their linebacker room, which has Cody Barton and then a bag of shit. So, yeah, I think I'm really, really big on Harold Perkins, obviously. Stowers, I think, is just an exciting guy to see what he does, but that's what I got for the Titans, boys.
Love it. Any other closing notes?
If I was hired as GM before the offseason started, Titans would be sitting a lot prettier right now.
Damn right.
We'd have Linderbaum.
If we all were
$27 million.
If we all were
That's a lot
just
of money.
GMs, I mean,
pay it.
the league would be in a really good place right now.
Yeah, there'd be 3 teams that are way better than they are.
Or 3 teams that sucked.
Yeah.
Balls.
All right, well, that's episode 11 of the books. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. Love
Thank
y'all.
you.
Peace.
Love
Love
y'all.
you guys. Cheers.
Buy the merch.
Oh, yeah, new merch drop. Buy the merch.